Tradition. It's a word that means a lot. Just as the tradition of the Muskogee Roughers requires commitment of great Tradition. It's a word that means a lot. Just as the tradition of the Muskogee Roughers requires commitment of great players and coaches, Lesher Millsap Funeral Home takes pride in providing great value and commitment every day with a tradition of service to the families of the Muskogee area. Just like in football, It may be cold on the outside for the players, or certainly for those in the stands, but once the action begins tonight here at Rufford Village, the heat will be intensified, as tonight is a winner-take-all situation between the fourth-ranked Muskogee Ruffers, who return back to Rufford Village with a 9-1 mark, hosting the Wildcats of Ponca City. Head coach Scott Harmon, in his fifth year, brings in a squad that is 6-5, and Nick Hampton got off to a slow start, but they found a way to finish strong and find their way into the second round of the 6A2 playoff picture.
Well, this Ponca City crew is a team that the Ruffers are used to facing. They faced them a couple of years when they were in the district until things got shuffled around this year. But more importantly for the Ruffers, it's kind of a get-even kind of a game tonight, as they want a revenge game. Ponca City ended the Ruffers' streak at Indian Bowl last year with the loss and a victory over the Ruffers in the final game of the season. So for Muskogee, it's kind of a get-even night tonight and kind of a chance to recover from the loss to Stillwater a couple of weeks ago.
And the Ruffers, of course, playing their 72nd all-time playoff appearance with 47 wins, but they've lost 5 in a row since winning the last time in the quarterfinal round of the 2016 playoffs with a win over Stillwater. But tonight, it's Ponca City Wildcats and the Muskogee Ruffers for all the marbles here at Rufford Village, and a chance to play on Thanksgiving weekend. We'll continue our pregame countdown to kickoff, and we'll come back. We'll talk with a guy that'll be making a lot of hits tonight in the defensive secondary for the Ruffers. He wears number 2. His name is Aiden Kemp. He'll be our guest and Meet the Ruffers after this opening timeout on the Muskogee High School Ruffer TV.
It's a time when uncertainty spreads faster than understanding. It's also a time when taking steps to prepare can help us all find a sense of security. At ServPro, helping our nation's homes, businesses, and shared spaces be more clean, be more safe, is why we're here. Here in your community, here to help.
Your injury recovery goals, plus Excel Therapy's expertise, are your winning game plan. At Excel, our #1 goal is to get you back to peak performance as quickly as possible. Our physical therapy and sports medicine professionals will take you from setback to comeback.
Excel Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. With 16 locations and no physician referral required, you can begin healing today. Excel Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. Look for us online at exceltherapyok.com.
Welcome back to Rufford football tonight. Muskogee against Ponca City, quarterfinal round of the playoffs. We bring in another one of the Ruffers who will try to leave it all on the field. He's a senior playing his final game on the home turf, number 2, Aiden Kemp. How much have you thought about this being the last chance that you'll play at home wearing the green and white?
Man, it's going to mean a lot. That's why we will need to leave it all on the field, because as a senior, last ride, hopefully not the last game, obviously, but the last ride at home, it's going to mean a lot.
Hey, talk to me about this senior season. I mean, this has been a complete turnaround from last year, 2-8 to now 9-1 going into the quarterfinal round here tonight against Ponca City. From a senior's perspective, obviously that requires a lot of leadership. Mm-hmm. What have you done to be a part of this success?
I've tried to keep my boys mentally stable. You know, anytime a bad play may happen during the field, it's always go back to the sideline when we get a 3 and out and rehearse it. Go over, be like, it's okay, next round, we still got a whole game to go. And as a senior, coming back from 2-8 last year to 9-1, like you said, it means a lot. And we always knew that we was going to be dominated by our senior year, so it feels good.
Let's talk about your responsibilities in that defensive backfield. What are the things that you're watching for when you're looking up the field? Who are your keys? What are you responding to from the opposing offense?
You watch us out there tonight, you're going to see we have to watch the H. They make motion a lot. And they like to spread out the receivers a lot for that QB to run up that middle. You know, they love working him to death. But our cues are just knowing where the receivers are, of course, and just what the QB's about to do.
Describe yourself from the viewpoint of Aiden Kemp. Describe yourself as the football player in that defensive secondary.
I like to say I'm a real physical dude. You know, I'm a good leader. I like to vocalize, you know, make sure everybody knows their responsibility and that everybody gets the right call.
Let's talk about your teammates. Everybody's kind of got their guy that can kind of get between the ears and kind of get your motor to a higher level. Who's that one teammate here tonight and throughout the season that has been able to kind of flip your switch to go from just doing what you do to doing it a lot better?
I love my DBs and all, but I say Deshaun Smith and my boy Tolbert, they some real hard dogs. They got me hyped every time we make big play.
Now, you mentioned to us the other night on the radio show that you have some high aspirations after high school, maybe a little college football if it's possible, but something about getting behind the stick in an airplane?
Oh, yes, sir. My dreams are actually recently, right after that night, I got accepted into OSU. So hopefully I can continue my academic there in aviation and become that pilot, baby.
So if I need to get from one point to another in a hurry, once you get that training and that degree, you'd fly me for free?
100%.
All right. Good luck to you tonight. Let's go get this home playoff berth and move on to the semifinals.
Yes, sir.
Aiden Campy wears number 2 for the Muskogee Ruffers, our guest in our pregame countdown to kickoff. Back with head coach Travis Hill after this timeout on Ruffer Football 2022. Tradition. It's a word that means a lot. Just as the tradition of the Muskogee Ruffers requires commitment of great players and coaches, Lesher Millsap Funeral Home takes pride in providing great value and commitment every day with a tradition of service to the families of the Muskogee area. Just like in football, tradition must be earned on every play, every day, not just in the final score. And that's why you can trust Lesher Millsap Funeral Home to be there for you when it counts the most. Lesher Millsap Funeral Home, proud to be part of the Muskogee tradition of excellence.
There's never been a better time to find a great deal on a sedan, truck, or crossover at Nissan of Muskogee. Call 918-683-6605 or go to nissanofmuskogee.com. There's never been a better time to find a great deal on a sedan, truck, or crossover at Nissan of Muskogee. Call 918-683-6605 or go to nissanofmuskogee.com.
Ruffer football back tonight at Ruffer Village. Muskogee at home for their first playoff game of 2022 against the Wildcats of Ponca City. Time to bring in the head coach of the Ruffers, Travis Hill. This is what every football team lives for, the opportunity to play in the playoffs and to have opportunity with a win to practice on Thanksgiving Day.
Absolutely. It was kind of interesting last week with the bye week. You know, you felt like that would be to our advantage, and I still think it was, but it's kind of a hard week without playing. When everybody else is playing and you get the playoff bug, so to speak. So here we are this week with a great opportunity to do exactly like I said, get our first playoff win if we get that opportunity and do what we call around here PDT, practice during Thanksgiving. So hopefully we can get this accomplished.
Ruffers at home against Ponca City. It's one of 4 games remaining in the 6A2 playoff picture. Stillwater Bartlesville, Coach, how do you see that one? That's the only team that has pushed the Ruffers into the loss side in that Week 10 matchup.
Well, I think, it's really unique. Got 2 of the same district teams. They played each other. Obviously, Stillwater won pretty handily the first time they played. But like every game, when you've played an opponent, it'd be an opportunity for Bartlesville to redirect and see if they can shore up a few things. That's a big win for them. So I definitely think that Stillwater, if I'm going to put money down on it, Bill, we're going to put on the Pioneers. But I do think that Bartlesville has come a long way and had a great year, and we'll give them some fits.
Some interesting matchups in the other 2 quarterfinal matchups. Deer Creek playing host to Tulsa, Washington. Choctaw entertaining Sand Springs.
Yeah, I mean, the Booker T Deer Creek game at Deer Creek, I think that's a huge advantage for Deer Creek to be playing out there. Be very interesting. I do think if Booker T can find ways to put points on the board, that they might have the advantage because of their great defense. So that would be an interesting matchup. And then when you flip around to the other one with the Sand Springs, Choctaw, that'd be a good fist fight there too over at Choctaw. I think obviously most people would give the edge to Choctaw just due to some skill level, but that'd be a very hard fought and 2 football teams that as they go into every year now, 2 programs that expect to play deep into the playoffs. So somebody's getting ready to go home, and that'd be a hard fought football game.
Of course, Ruffers have to take care of your business to move on to next week's semifinals. Any word on whether that game will be a Friday or Saturday? Who might draw the Friday night assignments? Who might get Saturday?
No, it's not, and I don't know all what they base it on. That being the OSSAA. I do know that it will be a neutral site, and it'll be over on this side of the state. When I say this side of the state, I mean in the Tulsa area someplace, suburban Tulsa probably, is where to be played. But at this point in time, we probably will not know until Saturday morning whether we'll be playing on a Friday evening or a Saturday afternoon/evening. So that'll be interesting how that makes its way down, and that's probably just all based on sites, and everything will be TBA'd as soon as we can get it out.
We're going to take a first time out, and when we come back, we'll go on the offensive side of the coin and talk with Coach Chris Ryerson Hoover. And then after the break, we'll be entertaining some comments from Steve Craver, who's got a little bit of an itch in his crawl going into this matchup against Ponca City. And then, of course, Travis will get into the winning strategy, brought to you by Michael A. Finnerty, Attorney Law. Back after this timeout, you're watching and listening to Ruffer Football 2022.
In sports, having the right winning strategy is often the difference between winning and losing. The same is true when you need legal representation. For more than 15 years, the law offices of Michael A. Finnerty have successfully provided the winning strategy with excellence and integrity for the people of the Muskogee area in matters of personal injury, social security disability, and workers' compensation issues. The law office, Muskogee trusts Michael A. Finnerty, ready to develop a winning strategy. Michael A. Finnerty, 436 Court Street in Muskogee. Call 687-1155. Online at finnertylaw.com.
I'm Kyle Edwards for Kyle Edwards Buick GMC in Muskogee and the all-new Kyle Edwards Auto Group in Shakota. With the addition of Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in Shakota and Buick GMC in Muskogee, it now gives our customers a great lineup of new makes and models to choose from. We are very proud to bring you a buying experience you won't find anywhere else. If you haven't visited us yet, come give us a chance. You'll like what you see. Family-owned, customer-friendly, Kyle Edwards Buick GMC in Muskogee and Kyle Edwards Auto Group in Shakota.
Playoff football tonight at Ruffer Village. Muskogee entertaining the Ponca City Wildcats. We bring in offensive coordinator Chris Reisenhuber. Got all that warm weather gear on, Coach, ready to stay out of the elements?
Yeah, we were just trying to search for some that last night. Trying to figure out, with the headsets on, what kind of hat you're going to wear. My favorite seal golf hat, low profile, but I think I'm going to have to throw on a couple of different layers and get ready for tonight.
How does the weather conditions, the cold temperatures, especially with a passing game, that it's not as hard to throw the football, but sometimes it can be more difficult to hold on to it once you try and make the catch?
Yeah, it has a different feel, different tackiness to it. It's awful dry and has a slick feel to it. Whenever it gets down to the temperature we're going to see this evening, so the gloves have come a long ways. Back in my time period, catching a football, it always felt like it was, a solid object. There wasn't much give to it whenever it hit you in the hands. So there'll be a little adjustment with that. But I think, the gloves have come so far that hopefully, we won't have too many problems. Just hold on. Just have to be more cautious and have your pressure points on the football whenever you do carry it. And, that's obviously a concern for any football coach whenever the temperature changes like this is turnovers.
Well, let's talk specifically about the offensive game plan. You've studied every inch of video available on Ponca City's defense. Where are their strengths and where are their vulnerabilities for the Ruffers to put points on the board?
Well, they're just a very solid group. The kids kind of made fun of me in our defensive theme sheet going on during the week. I put, one of the questions we asked ourselves, where are their defensive weaknesses? And the first thing, it's not a weakness. I put very solid across the board at all levels. Have some kids that, in the back end are very savvy and obviously run their schemes real well. Defensive line, there are some spots where, it's a kid that you would think would have a little bigger stamina, but they seem to hold their ground somehow. So I would say weakness is just, a little spotty as far as size at this level in some areas. And then obviously I think we're going to go into the game with a little speed advantage in some situations. So that's the areas that we're, looking at attacking.
Defensively, their formation is going to pretty much give you only the short side of the field, which kind of limits the area because the way they'll line up, put everything to the wide side. How do you counteract that to keep the offense balanced, run and pass, and moving beyond the chains?
Yeah, it takes some things that you're used to away. It's not so much whenever they line up, they're a little bit shifted to, and either your numbers, they do a good job adjusting to that, or to like I said, the field, they'll have an extra hanger guy over there. We saw a little bit of that with Tahlequah, bringing a guy down out of a 3-4. This is more of a 3-3 stack team, so they'll roll their extra hanger guy to the field a lot of times. We have a variety of plays that we can run out of balance formations and work it back into the boundary, which will give us some number advantages to that short side since they are kind of losing one in a way. So that, and there's some little run game, some stuff you can hit on the perimeter. But you need to be able to function also going to the field in some situations. So we'll have to turn some people loose at times to gain that advantage in numbers, and hopefully, as long as we put the hats on the right people, we should have some success.
And certainly, it doesn't hurt anything to get Jaden Bell back on the offensive side of things as a receiver, and then you add in Number 15, Andre Beasley, with his quickness, that gives you kind of the ace up your sleeve.
Oh, yeah, I've been waiting for weeks for this to happen. So, just happy to have those kids. Jaden's such a comforting deal for me as far as, he's always correct on his execution. And then Beasley brings so much explosiveness to our offense. He's got to touch the ball, 10, 12 times during the game, and he's going to make something happen. We've seen that. He's not 100%, but, his 85 is about as fast as I've seen a young man on a high school football field. So he's definitely got that step. Just happy to have both those guys back and excited to see them play.
Chris Reisenhuber with some offensive thoughts about tonight's opponent, the Wildcats of Ponca City High School. We'll come back and we'll go in the defensive locker room and talk with Steve Craver about how the Ruffers can post a shutout tonight against Po High. We'll do that after this timeout. You're watching and listening to Ruffer Football 2022.
Runt's Barbecue serves up hand-rubbed, slow-cooked goodness. Anytime you're feeding a few hundred, hey, we're just tailgating with friends. Call the experts, Runt's Barbecue. Ribs, brisket, burnt ends, mouth-watering hot link, and smoked chicken, where everything is made from scratch, from the barbecue sauce to the banana pudding. Give us a try, and you won't be disappointed. Runt's Barbecue, 918-681-3900. Runt's Barbecue, slow-cooked goodness in Muskogee.
Pioneer Abstract, proudly serving residential and commercial customers throughout Muskogee County since 1905. Serving banks, mortgage companies, and mortgage brokers with refinancing, purchase, 1031 tax-deferred exchanges, along with full escrow services and more. Pioneer Abstract offers the convenience of centralized services for escrow accounts, title insurance, and title searches. Pioneer Abstract, here yesterday, here today, and here tomorrow at 412 West Broadway in downtown Muskogee, or call Pioneer Abstract at 683-2904.
Muskogee Ruffer football tonight, quarterfinal round, 6A2 playoff picture. Time to take a look at the defensive outlook for the Muskogee Ruffers, and a guy who's been fighting his way back through the open date health-wise, getting himself ready to go is the defensive coordinator, Steve Craver. Looks like, Coach, you're feeling 100%?
Yes, sir. I'm back to 100%. I was a little bit stuffy at the beginning of the week. I really couldn't talk, really couldn't smell or taste anything, and those senses are starting to come back, so I'm appreciative of that.
Well, obviously, the Ruffers tonight smelling a victory and a chance to move into the semifinals. But first things first, you've got to find a way to totally stymie the Wildcats' offense, led by a very elusive and creative quarterback in Tay Moore.
Tay Moore is a very, very talented athlete. That you can tell he's the heartbeat of that team. He runs that offense pretty well. We faced him last year, and so we have some familiarity with him. We're going to try to keep him contained. We stop him. We feel like we can control that game.
Talk to me about how much you can gain from looking at last year's game film. It's entirely different personnel on both sides of the football and a different mindset for Ruffer defense here this year as well.
Yes, sir. I've actually referenced back to that game film just as much as the film that we got on them this year. It gives you an idea of what the offensive coordinator is thinking, how they want to attack our defense, depending on what front we have. And so we really had a chance to win that game last year. I know it's a bad taste. I've reminded our kids all week long that, they closed the Indian Bowl out with a victory. And so we want to open the Ruffer Village against Ponca City with a victory.
Now let's talk about the strengths of this defensive unit of Muskogee. You can talk about offense and 44 points a ball game, but through 10 games this season, giving up just 16 points, a group that has recorded 20-plus sacks. You've got 16 takeaways by pass interceptions and multiple fumble recoveries, and not to mention the many, many, many tackles for loss. What's the aggressive mindset? What's the approach to whether it's Ponca City or anybody else?
Our mindset going into every game is we feel like I'm not a big stat guy. It's always good to hear from you guys in the media to let us know, compared to last year to this year. The biggest thing that I preach to our defense is we want to create 3 takeaways throughout the game. We feel like if we do that, we give the ball back to our offense. However we can get the ball back to our offense, whether it be one-play drive or they march on down the field and we make them earn it, we feel like the ball can be on the ground or we can intercept the football. And so we get 3 takeaways, contain the quarterback and no vertical shots. I think that's the formula to our defense.
And I think it also bears to mention that like in a Kentucky Derby. You got a bunch of thoroughbreds at the starting gate. You got a defensive group that's ready to explode off the snap of the football. They're going to have to be patient because Ponca City, shown last week in the game against Tahlequah, they will take it down to the final 5 seconds on the play clock.
Yes, they do. The time of possession with a lot of their games, they win that battle. And so we got to make sure that we can get them behind the chains, make them try to do things that they don't normally would want to do. They want to stay in front of the chain. So if we get them behind the chain and make them earn it, we feel like that'll be advantage us no matter when they snap that football, and also try to get those takeaways when need be.
Is there one advantage that you just feel without any question that Muskogee will take onto the field here tonight and being able to turn the field upside down and let them flash the lights green and white, signifying another win?
I've been very, very happy with our pass rush. They really, the Stillwater game, the strength of the Stillwater was their offensive line. The strength of Ponca City is their skilled players. And so I really feel like the defensive line is going to be big if they can, establish that line of scrimmage where we can have some negative plays, get them in passing situations, and we can pin our ears back and get to the quarterback. I really feel like that's going to be a formula to us winning tonight.
Steve Craver looking to get healthy, and a trip to the semifinals will win tonight against Ponca City. We'll be back with Coach Travis Hill and the winning strategy, brought to you by Michael A. Finnerty, attorney at law. That after this timeout on Rougher Football 2022.
Stop by your local Bravado Wireless store to discover our current plans and promotions.
Well, dude, I didn't see anything.
We're Bravado Wireless, and we believe in the power of connection.
Whether you're shopping for a new Chevrolet or want to trade and get paid, power up! It's the Supercharged Sales Event at J. Hodge Chevrolet in Muskogee. You know what up to $1,500 more for your trade means? Supercharged savings. Shop more new Chevy. Inventory arriving daily. Don't overpay. Come to see Jay. Get a trade-in bonus up to $1,500 when you buy now. Supercharged savings powered by J. Hodge Chevrolet in Muskogee. 144 West Shawnee.
Rougher football into the quarterfinals, 6A2 playoff picture. Muskogee at home at Rougher Village against the Wildcats of Ponca City High School. Coach, a year ago, 2-8, not in the postseason. Now here you are, 9-1. A lot of things contributed to this success so far.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. And the number one thing is the kids, the young people, the players. So they have jumped on board and fought their way through a very good competitive season and have lined up, like I said, on the good end of the stick, for lack of better words. And now the opportunity is to play in their third season, as we refer to non-district as season 1, district play as season 2, the playoffs as season 3, and try to reach the ultimate goal of playing and winning the gold ball.
Tonight you go against a ball club that last year ended the year for the Muskogee Roughers and closed the gates at Indian Bowl with a disappointing 35-28 decision. How do you dismiss that, or do you even think about that in preparation for tonight's game?
You know, Bill, everybody approaches things differently. I don't. I'm not stupid enough. I didn't pull out the film from last year and obviously evaluate the strengths and weaknesses of that particular football game. But it's a different season, a different arena, a different scenario. So probably the only negative thing is one of our goals last year, I think, and even a personal goal, was to shut down the Indian Bowl with a win. So, we did not get that done. But as far as the way it reflects on this game, I think you got two completely different teams going at it in a completely different atmosphere and a different way to look at things. It is playoff football.
Wildcats are 6-5. Last week advanced to the quarterfinals with a 35-7 win over Tahlequah. Winning strategy, offense, defense, kicking game, all those things will matter in tonight's matchup against Pohide to advance to next weekend's semifinal matchup.
Yeah, and we get real specific again, but last year, it was 14-0 before we could blink an eye due to turnovers. So offensively, I think we'll have a lot of success as long as we don't turn that football over and just basically just stick to the game plan. If we can keep possession of the football, we'll be in great shape. Defensively, we'll have our hands full with our quarterback. He's very athletic. He can defend a lot of things and play some good defense, and this kid can freelance and hurt you in a lot of ways. And then, you know, the kicking game's always going to come and play. You know, a lot of people don't understand that. When you put it all together, it's a third of the game, and we'll have to be very, very sound there. You know, I've always been big in the kicking game. Let's just make sure we don't lose it there. Let's make sure at least we play even. And we think we have some advantages there as far as having an opportunity to be successful there. But the key will be, as I said, is just taking care of the football, executing. You know, they're not going to snap the ball, Bill, until there's 5 seconds left on the clock, okay? So, you know, they're going to take away as many possessions as we can. We don't need to give them any.
Head coach Travis Hill with some winning strategy thoughts about tonight's quarterfinal matchup against Ponca City High School. Winning strategy brought to you by Michael A. Finnerty, attorney at law. Back with Health of the Ruffers. Leo Krajewski will give us the playoff picture of health from Muskogee. That after this timeout, you're watching and listening to Ruffer Football 2022.
In times of need, it's comforting to see faces of people you know and trust. Cornerstone Funeral Home in Muskogee cherishes the opportunity to be there for you and your family in life's most challenging times when friends are most important. Cornerstone Funeral Home and Crematory welcomes the opportunity to answer any questions regarding planning and pre-arrangements for you and your loved ones. Experience the difference. Cornerstone Funeral Home, 1830 North York in Muskogee, where you'll find faces you know and reputations you trust.
It's a time when uncertainty spreads faster than understanding. It's also a time when taking steps to prepare can help us all find a sense of security. At ServPro, helping our nation's homes, businesses, and shared spaces be more clean, be more safe, is why we're here. Here in your community, here to help.
Health of the Ruffers brought to you by Excel Physical Therapy. We welcome in athletic trainer Leo Krajewski. And Coach, just like the football coaches have their own assignments for their coaching and their players, whether it's offense, defense, or special teams, Coach Leo's got his own crew of players that you have to have a game plan for.
Yeah, my 5 young ladies that I have are student trainers, Amari, Dariah, Taylor, Cortland, Anna. And then now we have a new student intern from Oklahoma State who's been working with us with us for the past 5 weeks, Audrey. We've all got our assigned duties prior to the game, leading up to the game, and then during the game. As far as field setup, you know, getting the water buffaloes ready, getting the water bottles ready, getting every table, except our table on the sideline set up, injury ice. Pretty much, even the visiting sideline. Like I said, perfect example, tonight or tomorrow night we'll be playing Ponca City. We have to we're going to be providing them some water. That way they have, from a travel standpoint, it makes it a little bit easier for them to travel. So we're making sure we got water on their sideline. Start of the game, like I said, our pregame taping, as far as the taping, wrapping, treatments. During pregame warm-up, we got our girls are making sure they're getting watered down, getting taken care of, checking for any other problems we might have to do a little extra foam rolling, do a little extra stretching or anything that has to be done. Once they come inside, we got wrist spatting and hands tape up to get ready for the game. Get out in the field, then we got to do our water. We got a group that takes care of the actual guys who are sitting down after the offense or defense. We've got one group that's patrolling the sideline as far as getting ready for timeouts, etc. Then we got our halftime group, and then we got our post game, the whole 9 yards.
What else do you have to do because of tonight's weather conditions being so brutally cold? I mean, temperatures tonight throughout the game are going to get as cold as what we've seen all year.
Yeah, crazy as this sounds, one of the biggest things we've got to do is insist and really stay on the guys about drinking water. Staying hydrated. It's kind of funny. I see more cramping now than I do when it's hot, because when it's hot, everybody thinks about drinking. Everybody always, they got to make sure they drink water. When it gets cold, they don't tend to focus on it as much. They don't think about it as much. And you'd be amazed how often I have just as many people cramp when it gets cold as when it's hot.
And those don't work out near as fast either.
No, they do not. They do, especially in the cold. They do not. It takes twice as long. And one of the things, and the young men have discovered this, you can't just take one slosh water and you're going to be fine. It takes a while to work out. And the problem is, once you start cramping, it doesn't go away. It's basically with you for the rest of the game until you're done being physically active. And unfortunately, a lot of guys unfortunately find out the hard way about that.
Leo Kraske, our guest here in this portion of the Health of the Roughers, brought to you by Excel Physical Therapy. After a open date last week, a much cleaner and healthier playoff picture for the Muskogee Roughers tonight. Back with Coach Leo's thoughts on the health of the Roughers after this timeout, brought to you by Excel Physical Therapy on Rougher Football 2022.
Your injury recovery goals, plus Excel Therapy's expertise, are your winning game plan. At Excel, our #1 goal is to get you back to peak performance as quickly as possible. Our physical therapy and sports medicine professionals will take you from setback to comeback.
Excel Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. With 16 locations and no physician referral required, you can begin healing today. Excel Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. Look for us online at exceltherapyok.com.
Health of the Roughers brought to you each and every week by Excel Physical Therapy, where they keep you in the game. Leo, Roughers tonight come in with a clean bill of health.
Yes, we're probably, like I said, we're not, as I was saying earlier, we're not 100%, but we're probably around 95, 97. A lot of the bumps and bruises we've had here recently have pretty much cleared up. Mr. Watson's going to be back. Mr. Beasley's back. Mr. Bell's pretty much almost 100%. We'll tape his fingers together. That's about the closest thing we've got there. We got a few bumps and bruises here, but pretty much we're pretty doggone healthy.
So what do you have to watch for specifically in tonight's game?
Just once again, making sure we warm up properly, make sure we're warmed up thoroughly. With the cold, also, you have to be a little bit worried about, not being a little tighter than normal. So, hey, if you don't warm up well enough, there's a bit greater chance you could pull something or something to that effect. So making sure we're warmed up plenty. Make sure we're warmed up. Like I said, if I don't see a little bit of sweat coming off them, I know they're not warmed up enough. They've got to be sweating a little bit. That means, hey, they're warmed up, they're ready to go.
Roughers look to get their sweat and their swag tonight here against the Wildcats of Ponca City High School. Back with more Rougher football after this timeout of Rougher Football 2022. Tradition. It's a word that means a lot. Just as the tradition of the Muskogee Roughers requires commitment of great players and coaches, Lesher Millsap Funeral Home takes pride in providing great value and commitment every day with a tradition of service to the families of the Muskogee area. Just like in football, tradition must be earned on every play, every day, not just in the final score. And that's why you can trust Lesher Millsap Funeral Home to be there for you when it counts the most. Lesher Millsap Funeral Home, proud to be part of the Muskogee tradition of excellence.
There's never been a better time to find a great deal on a sedan, truck.
Rougher Village in Muskogee, site for 6A2 football playoff tonight here on Rougher TV. Muskogee Roughers entertaining the Wildcats of Ponca City. Bill Huddleston along with Nick Hampton and the Rougher TV crew. Our officials for tonight's game, the referee is Kevin Aiken, the umpire Troy Niles. Kevin Jones is the headlinesman, line judge Chase Boyd, and James Ferris is the back judge. And Nick, just like the players, the officials work all year long to be evaluated and then be given opportunities to get into the postseason. And these guys are playing for more marbles than just tonight because crews from across the state evaluated and somebody will be selected to officiate the championship game.
That's right. So they'll be on their toes tonight. We'll see if the Roughers will be kind enough to not let them throw too many of their flags this evening. That'll be one thing the Roughers will try to work on, cutting down some of those penalties that they've had the last few weeks. Wildcats will receive to start tonight's game, and we're just about ready to get underway.
Darian Armstrong has it on the tee. Devin Cunningham, Grant Harmon back deep to return for the Wildcats of head coach Scott Harmon. Crisp, cold Friday night. Here's a short pooch kick, fair catch signal for and taken. Making the grab was Cooper Rich, and the Wildcats will start 1st and 10 from their own 35-yard line. Bill Huddleston, Nick Hampton with you on Rougher TV. Starting offensive lineman across the front, Evan Pites, Cooper Leonard, Tristan Boyd, Blaze McGahey, and Darwin Foster will be tackle to tackle. Tight end will be Rich Cooper, who just made that fair catch. Receiving core will include Ryder Trepton, Malachi Johnson, Cole Runnels, along with Gavin Cunningham and A.J. Landis.
Tay Moore, the quarterback for the Wildcats. He's the guy they've got to control. He's a dual threat, can run or pass either.
Moore out of the shotgun with the running back, Grant Harmon, the coach's son, to his right. They bring motion across the formation. Stop. Hand it off to Harmon, trying to bounce to the edge. Roughers get out there quickly and stuff that one behind the line of scrimmage. Quickly up was Deshaun Smith from his linebacker spot to make the first contact, and a loss of 2 on the first down play.
Also coming up from linebacker spot for the Roughers was Trevion Houston, that middle linebacker spot. So they lose a couple, and the Roughers off to a good start with a loss on the first down.
Houston, the leading tackler for the Roughers on the season with 101 stops so far this year. 2 wide receivers split outside the hash mark as Moore will take the snap. 3-step drop, dropping back further. Roughers come with a blitz. Now Moore going to have to roll to the side. Throws upfield, has the catch made. A.J. Landis on the receiving end of that pass from Tay Moore, who put it right on the money. Getting upfield from the 33 to the 42, a 9-yard gain. And it'll be 3rd down and 3 for the Wildcats.
Watson putting a little pressure on from that right defensive end spot, but the play was away from him, so he couldn't catch up with Tay Moore before he got rid of the pass.
Cunningham, the wide receiver, to the boundary short side right. Double slot in tight to the left with Moore out of the gun. Claps his hands together, hands it off. This is Harmon trying to find just enough running room to power upfield. Gets just to the 45-yard line, but that's all he needed. Picking up 3 on the first down carry, and the Wildcats have a 1st and 10.
Right at the 45, Vernon Pepiakata there on the tackle for the Roughers.
Roughers using that 4-man defensive front. Tion Brewer, Parker Pellett, Pepiakata, and Anthony Watson. Linebackers Deshaun Smith, Trevion Houston, and Brandon Tolbert. Good to see Jaden Bell back in the starting lineup along with Martell Bolden on the corners and Aiden Kemp and Dion Bowler as the safeties. 45-yard line, 1st and 10, opening 2 minutes of play. Ponca City with the football. Moore takes it, comes to the short side, lob pass inside, a kind of little toss back. The forward pass caught that time by Rich Cooper, but the Roughers are right there on top of it to stop it for a short 2-yard gain.
Parker Pellett there in the starting lineup tonight for the Roughers, making the tackle for Muskogee after that very short gain on kind of a little shovel pass inside.
Another one of those group of juniors, Nick, that just continued to improve day by day in practice as well as week by week in the game. Malachi Johnson will be the single wide out to the boundary left. Trips go out wide to the right. Moore back in the pocket, fakes the little swing route, reverses out. Ruffers kind of bought on the pass, and then Moore with his quick feet going to be able to scamper upfield and get back to the line of scrimmage.
Parker Pellett chasing him from behind. Finally, Houston runs him out of bounds right around the line of scrimmage, so no gain on the play.
9:24 as the clock stopped as Moore went out of bounds on that run. Tay Moore, a week ago, Nick, ran for 112 yards in the Wildcats' win over Tahlequah, 35-7 in round 1 of the 6A2 playoff picture. Harmon will be to the left of Moore this time with trips out wide to the same side. Snap is back in good shape. Moore drifting back, stepping up in the pocket, breaks out of a tackle, throws upfield. The ball is in and off the fingertips of the targeted receiver.
Harmon or Moore did a nice job to get rid of that. Jaden Bell got a hand on it down there right in front of the receiver and just deflected it enough that the receiver couldn't haul it in.
Gavin Cunningham was the targeted receiver for the Wildcats, so that'll force a punting situation, and Grant Harmon would be the scheduled man to do the punting, although it looks like we've got somebody else back there right now, Nick. On a 4th and 8 situation, Jaden Bell will stand inside the 20. Good snap back. Kick is high. Kind of a wobbly type kick. Ruffers will just let bound and get out of the way of it. It'll roll laterally to a stop at the 24-yard line, and that's where Muskogee will take over. 1st down and 10.
A short punt, just 29 yards on the punt. So the Ruffers will get decent field position. Let's see what they'll do offensively. Obviously, we'd like to see the Ruffers roll down the field here on their first possession and get out in front early.
Offensive lineup will be, of course, across the front, strengthened by the play of the guys in the trench. Wes Harvey, Jace Garrett, Braden Henry, O'Shea Stevenson, and Vernon Pepiakata. Only one senior, Garrett, in that front offensive 5. Ficklin with motion across the formation. They fake the jet, give it off on the jet sweep, and the Wildcats were ready and waiting for it. That play really had no place to go as Andre Beasley, who returns to action this week, Nick, coming off that ankle injury, dropped behind the line of scrimmage. Hunter Hudson Haas in on the stop for Ponca City. A loss from the 24 back to, we'll call it the 19, so a loss of 5 on 1st down. For football this season brought to you by Cornerstone Funeral Home, J. Hodge Chevrolet, Bravado Wireless, and Pioneer Abstract, along with the good folks at Runt's Barbecue. Ficklin out of the gun, takes the knee-high snap, counter action, in the pocket, sets up, wanted to stretch the field. McGee is behind the defender, and he'll be brought to the turf. Yeah, he did. The ball kind of hung up in the breeze as McGee came on the crossing route. Downfield covering was Xavion Parker, but he just could not keep his hands off McGee. That'll bring a yellow hanky and result in a pass interference and a Kyle Edwards Buick GMC rougher, first down and 10.
McGee had a good couple of steps on the defender. Pass not quite far enough by Ficklin, and McGee had to kind of slow up, and as he did, Parker, just as you said, couldn't keep his hands off of him and ends up with a 15-yard walk-off up to the 34.
But the pass interference penalty moves the ball from the 19 to the 29 altogether. Or, no, excuse me, to the 34. But it carries with it an automatic first and 10. Clock stopped on the penalty flag. Ruffers will send trips out wide to the left. As Ficklin brings McGee in motion. They'll counter, hand it off in traffic. Good upfield pursuit by the Ponca City Wildcat defensive front, stopping Tolbert behind the line. A loss of 3 on the play. Micah McBride making the stop for PC.
So far, the running game hasn't gotten too much success for the Ruffers. Has another loss there.
Back to the 31-yard line. So 2nd and 13. Not too many times this season, Nick, have the Ruffers been behind the chains. Bell and Beasley will go wide to the left. Watson and McGee to the short side right. Ficklin in the pocket across the middle. Wide open as Watson makes the catch at the 50-yard line. He's wrapped up quickly and brought to the turf, but the Ant-Man was in open space. Harmon in on the stop. 22-yard pass play and a Muskogee Ruffer, Kyle Edwards Buick GMC, first down at 10.
Nice grab by Watson. The pass a little bit behind him by Ficklin, but he managed to get his body turned around. Good hands as he was covered closely. Brought it down, and the Ruffers get the first down and now in Ponca territory.
At the 47-yard line and PC into the field. Ruffers with their first possession. 7:15 in the clock running here in the opening quarter. Still no score. Bell and Watson will be to the outside left. McGee and Beasley to the right. They'll hand it off to Tober, trying to turn the corner. Got a block, comes upfield from McGee. Now down the sideline. 30, 25, 20, 15 at the 10, and wrestled to the turf at the 7-yard line. But a big block out here on the edge, Nick, by Caden McGee. And once Tolbert got to the boundary, it was a foot race, and finally able to get over and make the tackle for the Ponca City Wildcats
40
was
yards.
Jay Schneeberger at a 40-yard gallop, first down and goal to go at the 7-yard line.
Well, just as we say, the running game wasn't going. Tolbert makes a liar out of us and gallops for 40 off that great block.
So now with Tolbert to the left of Ficklin in this set. 2 wideouts go outside the hash marks to the left. They'll counter, give it off in traffic again to Tolbert, and that's going to be a tough play to handle, Nick, because of the interior presence of Ponca City's front line. Matthew Vaught into the stop. A loss of 1 back to the 8-yard line.
The misdirection, I think, will eventually pay off for the Ruffers because they'll use a little play action off that, find someone open in the end zone.
Bell and Beasley will be the 2 wideouts to the left for Ficklin. McGee and Watson are to the short side right. Wildcats crowd the line of scrimmage. They bring pressure coming around on the in sweep. With the football is Andre Beasley. He'll turn the corner and trot his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Muskogee. Touchdown, Nissan of Muskogee, a friend to Ruffer football.
And there it was. They faked it inside to Tolbert and gave it off to Beasley on the sweep. And the Ponca City Wildcats didn't hold outside very well, and Beasley got around the corner to score.
That is the 6th rushing touchdown on the season for Andre Beasley. Now Darian Armstrong on to try to make it a 7-0 ball game. Snap a little bit high, but the ball is kicked. It is blocked. And the extra point fails. So with 5:59 to play here in the opening quarter play, Muskogee Ruffers on a 76-yard drive. A big run by Brandon Tolbert of 40 yards to set it up. Then the 8-yard scamper by Beasley to put points on the board. Timeout on the field. 5:59 left, quarter number 1. Back in 30 seconds. This is Ruffer Football 2022.
In times of need, it's comforting to see faces of people you know and trust. Cornerstone Funeral Home in Muskogee cherishes the opportunity to be there there for you and your family in life's most challenging times when friends are most important. Cornerstone Funeral Home and Crematory welcomes the opportunity to answer any questions regarding planning and pre-arrangements for you and your loved ones. Experience the difference. Cornerstone Funeral Home, 1830 North York in Muskogee, where you'll find faces you know and reputations you trust.
Back at Ruffer Village on quarterfinal weekend of the 6A2 football playoff picture. Bill Huddleston, Nick Hampton, and the Ruffer TV crew. Ruffers go 7 plays, 76 yards. Put points on the board with Andre Beasley on the end around. The extra point fails. It's 6-0 Muskogee. Certainly hope that extra point doesn't come back to have any bearing on the outcome of this ball game if you're the Ruffers.
Well, it's a good start for the Ruffers. They played well defensively, got the offense rolling after kind of a little slow start with the running game, but that's what you want to do, get out early and get on them.
Armstrong to approach the kick. Again, a high fielded kick that's going to be taken on a fair catch at the 27-yard line. Making the grab that time was Colton Strange. And the ball will go back to Ponca City for the second time here in the opening quarter. They're going to mark it, I guess, upfield at the 28-yard line. Am I correct?
That's what it looks like.
But now we've got an official's consultation. Is there a penalty here?
I didn't see a flag, but
neither did I. Michael A. Finnerty, attorney at law. Buffalo Wild Wings, Kyle Edwards Buick GMC, and David Cobb, State Farm Insurance, helping make possible Ruffer football.
They wave it off, whatever it was, so it'll be the Wildcats' ball at the 28, their second possession of the night.
So they'll place the ball at the 20. Where? And there was a flag.
Oh, there was a flag. Okay.
Apparently they ruled that PC didn't signal enough for a fair catch, so that'll be a 5-yard walk-off. I really thought he did, Nick.
I did too.
But from the 23-yard line, that's where Pohai will start first and 10 with 5:59 to go here in quarter number 1. Tay Moore calling the offense, claps his hands together, takes the snap, stands tall in the pocket, wants to throw it up for grabs. It's picked off, deflected by Pepe Akata, intercepted by Watson, touchdown, Muskogee! Vernon Pepe Akata got his hands on it, deflects it right into the grasp of Anthony Watson, and the sure-handed Ant-Man takes it into the end zone, and the Ruffers defense puts points on the board.
So great effort there. And that'll be about a 20-yard return for Watson for the touchdown.
So now Armstrong to come in and try to pick up the PAT this time. Dylan Wood continues to be the holder. Snap rolling back again, and the second time it's blocked as racing through, untouched that time for the Cats, was Matthew Vaught. Timeout on the field, 5:50 to play, quarter number 1. On the ground with the offense and with the defense. Ruffers have a 12-0 lead. We're back in 30 seconds. This is Ruffer Football 2022.
Whether you're shopping for a new Chevrolet or want to trade and get paid, power up! It's the Supercharged Sales Event at J. Hodge Chevrolet in Muskogee. You know what up to $1,500 more for your trade means? Supercharged savings. Shop more new Chevy. Inventory arriving daily. Don't overpay. Come see Jay. Get a trade-in bonus up to $1,500 when you buy now. Supercharged savings powered by J. Hodge Chevrolet in Muskogee. 144 West Shawnee.
Offense wins games, defense wins championships. That's the word of head coach Travis Hill. And Nick, that performance by Vernon Pepiakata and Anthony Watson, the two-man combination resulting in the pass, interception, and the touchdown, and the Ruffers have a 12-0 advantage.
Both these teams pretty stout on defense. The Ruffers coming into the game with a +11 turnover ratio. Ponca City +13.
Once again, a short pooch kick, fair catch being waved for and caught, and then the players run into each other. It's a live ball. Ponca City has to hustle back and get it on top of it. Able to get back and recover the ball was Colton Strange, but he collided with one of his teammates, Nick, that time, Cooper Rich.
I think Anderson actually was the guy that finally ended up getting on the ball for the Wildcats, but that was almost disaster after they'd had the pass intercepted and returned, or blocked and returned.
So once again from the 23-yard line, would have been their football up around the 32, but the The Wildcats will maintain possession. Malachi Johnson will be one of the wide-out receivers to the left side along with Cole Runnels. As Moore with Harmon to his left sets the offense for the Wildcats. 1st and 10. Clap the hands together, take the snap. Counter play back inside. Harmon changing direction, 25, 30, 35. And out near the 40-yard line goes Grant Harmon. Harmon, a 4-year performer for the Wildcats, it signals with the tomahawk chop. A first down, 20-yard gallop, and a 1st and 10 for Ponca City.
Nice misdirection that time by the Wildcats as they got the Ruffers flowing to the right, and then Harmon with the handoff had all kinds of room up the middle of the Ruffers were kind of out of position.
5:27 on the clock running here in the first 12 minutes of action from Ruffer Village on this coldest Friday night of the year, but thank goodness we have no precipitation in the forecast, and let's hope it stays that way. Taymor this time with Harmon to his left. Going to go right back with the same deal. They mishandled the handoff, and Moore's going to keep it. He's trying to get to the corner, and he'll get a little bit of an advantage upfield from the 43 to the 47. Looked like there was some miscommunication between Harmon and Moore. Grant wanted to hold on to the football, and Moore was trying to pull it and then read the option.
Well, and as it turns out, ends up being a decent play for the Wildcats. They get 4 yards out of it off the kind of miscommunication, as you said. Nice effort, too, by Moore as he kept the legs churning.
Now in the backfield for Ponca City, Jay Schneeberger. He'll take the handoff coming to the left, and he's going to be met by a host of Ruffer defenders. Brandon Tolbert was one of the first guys that got there, and Schneeberger goes down behind the line of scrimmage back at the 43. So the 4 yards gained on first down, lost on second down. It's 3rd down and 10.
Martell Bolden also back there for the Ruffers to help out on that tackle as Schneeberger goes nowhere with that one.
Ponca City Wildcats came in 6-5 on the season, lost their first 4 games of the year, but did not give up division. Then reeled off 5 wins in a row before losing in week number 10 to Choctaw. Last week beating Tahlequah in the opening round of the playoffs. Moore with the running back to his left, straight drop back. Ruffers bring pressure right up the middle. It's Tolbert. He's in the face of Moore, and down on the turf he goes. They'll rule him down by contact. Brandon Tolbert was like a bull out of the chutes, Nick, on the Professional Bull Riders Tour. He explodes and drops Moore back at the 32-yard line. That'll be a loss of 11 and bring up a 4th and 10.
Wow, Tolbert not touched. Ruffers did a lot of shuffling right before the snap, and Tolbert had a straight shot into the quarterback. No one touched him, and Moore unable to avoid him.
14th tackle for loss on the season from Brandon Tolbert, the two-way performer. Snap back in good shape. It's a kind of a wobbly type punt. It'll bound at the 40, and the Ruffers will just watch it crawl its way down the field to a stop at around the 31-yard line. 3:09 left, quarter number 1. Muskogee 12, Ponca City nothing. Nick, Ruffer offense puts one more here, and you got to feel like the motor is revving on all 8 cylinders.
Well, and Ruffers, of course, all back healthy tonight with Jaden Bell back in the lineup after being out with his injured hand. Beasley back tonight after his ankle sprain a couple of weeks ago. So Ruffers at full strength going in tonight.
Beasley and McGee will be the pairs. Actually trips to the right side with Watson inside close. They bring Bell in motion across the formation. Takes the handoff on the sweep, trying to turn to the corner, looking for a block upfield 35, 40, and then pushed out of bounds right in front of the Ruffer bench. But Jaden Bell on the end around going to scamper from the 31 upfield to the 44. That's the Baker's dozen 13-yard pickup and a Kyle Edwards Buick GMC Ruffer 1st down and 10.
Ruffers finding some speed and some success running now, going to the outside. Beasley with the touchdown run going outside. Now Bell with that run outside. Tolbert's run was to the outside, his 40-yard run in that first series.
Well, one thing about it, you can only stay packed in the middle with that 6-man, 7-man, 8-man box until you get burned on the outside edge. Now the Ruffers on a bad snap, ball loose on the turf, and I think Ponca City's come up with the football.
Yep.
It is recovered. Mishandled snap and a recovery by the Wildcats. Micah McBride, the 5'9", 165-pound senior, as he's listed on the roster. One of the things that Travis Hill was concerned about was the cold temperatures and turnovers, and that one there gives Ponca City golden field position to start at the Muskogee 44-yard line.
Well, the defense has been up to the task so far for the Ruffers, so let's see what they can do now with the Wildcats getting to start in the rougher end of the field.
3:01 to go here in quarter number one. Muskogee leading 12-0. Wildcats gifted with an opportunity. Ruffers don't have enough personnel out there guarding the three-receiver package. Now they'll shift Houston over. Moore's going to take it on a quarterback keeper dancing his way upfield. He'll get downfield from the 44 to the 42 before he stood up defensively. Anthony Watson, one of the first green jersey defenders, along with Arion Parrish. 2-yard pickup, second down and 8.
Kind of surprised they didn't throw. They had to set up, like you said, the three receivers out to the right, and the Ruffers really didn't have very good coverage out there. But
actually only had two guys trying to cover three.
But it was a designed running play all the way, apparently.
Gavin Cunningham will be the single wide out to the right, outside the numbers. Double slot tight to the left. Harmon off the right shoulder of Tamor. Waits the snap. Play action. Wait in the pocket. Throw it across the middle. Intercepted! Diving effort by our player of the week. Get to know Ruffer. Aiden Kemp with the INT. So the Ruffers gift the Wildcats and then come right back with the interception. Kemp on the takeaway at the 30-yard line.
So just like that, the Ruffers back in business and their own end of the field, and that makes up for the fumble turnover. Ruffers will go 1st and 10 at their own 30 after the INT.
See what kind of offensive big play here that the offensive Wizard of Oz, Chris Reisenhover, will call from his card full of tricks. He'll send two receivers outside to the left. That's Beasley and Bell. Watson in the slot and McGee out on top of the numbers to the right side. Play action series. Ficklin with the football. He's in trouble. He's going to be wrapped around the waist and brought down. Good presence inside that time by Gabe Rowland. Rowland not only an outstanding football player, Nick, one of the leading tacklers for the Wildcats, but he's also a state qualifier. Finished a runner-up last year at his weight class of 170 pounds in the 2022 state meet, and has already drawn an offer from Northeastern State University to play college football. Loss of 2 on the play. Back to the 28-yard line, where it'll be 2nd down and 12. Ficklin out of the gun. Fakes the handoff to Johnson, sets up the underneath screen, and it's dropped. Anthony Watson had all kinds of running room ahead with blockers, but could not hold on to the football, and it'll be a 3rd down situation for Muskogee.
So again, the Ruffers a little behind the chains running here on 3rd and long.
Sometimes 1 or 2, Nick, on a cold night like this, and there hasn't been anything to compare it to all year long. That pass from Ficklin gets there to you in a hurry. It's got a certain spin on it. And that leather football gets a little bit hard, too, on a cold night. 1:30 left to play, opening 12 minutes. Ficklin out of the gun, rolls to his left. Picks up a good protection block from Johnson, throws on a spot, up the field at the 42-yard line, 2 yards behind the line to gain. And Jaden Bell on the reception gives the Ruffers a Kyle Edwards Buick GMC 1st down and 10.
13 yards on the pass completion up to the 41, and the Ruffers move the chains and keep on rolling.
Clock will start now on the snap of the football as Bell stepped out of bounds. Jaden Bell came in with 25 receptions, 516 yards, and 4 scores this season. Of course, he's missed the last 3 weeks of competition with the broken hand on the offensive side. Ficklin takes the waist-high snap, sets in the pocket, pump fakes, tries to dance free, and he's going to get wrapped up and dropped back behind the line of scrimmage. Good effort that time by, again, Hudson Haas, the junior returning defensive end who came in with 58 tackles on the year, 68 rather, and that's his 17th tackle for loss on the season. That's a big loss, Nick, all the way back to the 31-yard line.
10-yard loss on the play for Ficklin.
Ruffers might have been looking for that screen that time, but there just was nobody to throw it to. So with 47 seconds in the clock running here in the first, 12-0 Muskogee Ruffers. Snap back to Ficklin, coming to his right, setting up, trying to throw upfield, looking for McGee, and it's caught on the boundary, but he says he's out of bounds. Fans down below us don't agree, but I have to concur with the side judge. as McGee was right on the sideline. That pass took a little bit of time in getting there as well. So it'll be third down now and 20.
Ficklin doing a nice job just to get that one in the vicinity. He was being chased, kind of threw. He was rolling to his right and threw back to his left. Kind of a difficult throw, but he managed to get it where McGee at least had a chance to catch it.
A good contingent of fans from both squads here tonight, Nick. These are the fans, not the fair weather fans. These are the cold weather group. Single receiver to the left, twins out to the right. Ficklin again back in the pocket. Now he steps up, wants to look down the boundary. He's looking for Beasley, who's being pushed on the sideline and being chased with a hand on the back of the receiver. As in coverage that time was Gabe Rowland, the linebackers matching up with Beasley. The pass falls harmlessly incomplete. For coaches, we're asking for perhaps a little pass interference.
Yeah, that was close.
Consideration?
No, I don't think so, though, on that one. That was a little hand checking there, but I don't think it was interference.
Clock stopping on the incomplete pass with 29 seconds left, so Ficklin will be back to punt for the first time tonight. 12-0 Muskogee here in the closing minutes of the first quarter. Ficklin waits on the snap. It's high. He's able to jump up and get it and get the kick away. And a pretty good boot considering all the things that happened. The ball bounding inside the 40, rolls inside the 35, and will continue to cradle its way to the 32-yard line with 16 seconds left here in the opening 12 minutes of play.
37-yard punt by Ficklin, no return. And the Ponca City Wildcats will have the ball for the fourth time tonight. Fifth time, actually.
Lesher Millsap Funeral Services, Nissan of Muskogee, along with My Place Barbecue West, the home of the barbecue plate. Good stuff. And you get pretty good waitress service when you're there as well, Nick.
Well, sometimes.
Yeah, that'll at least that will appease the two members of the staff that are here in our Rougher TV crew. Good luck for you when you go out there. First and 10 for Ponca City from their 32-yard line. Moore on a counter play, giving off to Harmon, who's being stood up and stopped right at the line of scrimmage. But again, the interior play, that time Arion Paris, the junior nose guard, Nick, kind of just kept forcing Harmon laterally. And then the reinforcements came, and Harmon fortunate to get back to the line of scrimmage. Clock's going to run out here in the quarter number one. 12 minutes played in this opening round of the 6A2 football playoffs. Muskogee leading 12-0. We're back in 60 seconds on Rougher Football 2022.
Stop by your local Bravado Wireless store to discover our current plans and promotions.
Well, dude, I didn't see anything.
We're Bravado Wireless, and we believe in the power of connection.
Pioneer Abstract, proudly serving residential and commercial customers throughout Muskogee County since 1905. Serving banks, mortgage companies, and mortgage brokers with refinancing, purchase, 1031 tax-deferred exchanges, along with full escrow services and more. Pioneer Abstract offers the convenience of centralized services for escrow accounts, title insurance, and title searches. Pioneer Abstract, here yesterday, here today, and here tomorrow at 412 West Broadway in downtown Muskogee, or call Pioneer Abstract at 683-2904.
First quarter complete. Muskogee Roughers with one offensive score, a defensive pass interception return for a pick six by Anthony Watson. As we start quarter number two, Wildcats will have the football moving from our left to right or from north to south. Second down and 10. Moore going to roll his right, pitch it underneath to the tight end. Nice grab and run that time by Rich Cooper. And then in the continuing scrum, the forward progress goes from the 32 all the way upfield to the 41-yard line. So all in all, Nick, it's a 9-yard pickup.
Second time they've used that little shovel pass inside. They've gotten some pretty good yardage out of it both times.
The RPO working effectively there for Scott Harmon's offensive unit. Extremely athletic junior quarterback Tay Moore at the controls, the 6', 175-pounder. Came in 108 of 207 for 1,416 yards on the year. Takes the snap, hands it off to Harmon, has a crease, but stood up at the line of scrimmage. He didn't make the yard to gain. Ruffers that time filled the gap. Jaden Bell was there.
Sean Smith was there.
And with some help from Jeremy Collins, the 215-pound junior. Notice, Nick, we keep saying sophomore, junior, sophomore, junior. Muskogee Ruffers, pretty good football team this year, and the majority of the cast will return. It'll be 4th down and a yard to go. No gain on the play. So now will Scott Harmon roll the dice here and go for it? He's got the offensive unit in.
Yep.
Moore will
try to get the Ruffers offside.
Bark the cadence. Now he calls for the snap, but a timeout was taken just prior to the snap. So now Ponca City may opt to punt the football after the break. 10:28 left to go before halftime. Muskogee 12, Ponca City nothing, back in 30 seconds. You're watching and listening to Ruffer Football 2022.
Runt's Barbecue serves up hand-rubbed, slow-cooked goodness. Anytime you're feeding a few hundred, hey, we're just tailgating with friends. Call the experts. Runt's Barbecue. Ribs, brisket, burnt ends, mouth-watering hot link, and smoked chicken, where everything is made from scratch, from the barbecue sauce to the banana pudding. Give us a try, and you won't be disappointed. Runt's Barbecue, 918-681-3900. Runt's Barbecue, slow-cooked goodness in Muskogee.
Out of the timeout, Ponca City still facing a 4th and 1. They've kept the offense on the field.
Yeah, I'm not going to believe this, though.
Tay Moore with Schneeberger to his left. Takes the snap, straight ahead on the run. It's a big gamble, and it's not going to get there. Ruffers stop that behind the line of scrimmage, and now the scrum, the rugby scrum, just continues to go on and on and on. And the big heavies got in behind Tay Moore, and in rugby fashion, Nick, what appeared to be a loss of a yard turns into a 3-yard gain, and it's a 1st and 10 at the 44-yard line.
Wow, I thought they were going to call that forward progress, but they didn't, and so Ponca gets 1st down out of it.
At the 44-yard line, and they're into the field. 10:08 and the clock running here before halftime. Twin receivers wide either side with Harmon as the setback. Moore out of the pistol, down the line, hands it off in traffic for Harmon on the counter, back in traffic. Deshaun Smith in at the ankles, and then there's a penalty flag thrown from the Muskogee sideline.
I think that's going to be a sideline warning for the Ruffers, maybe.
Coach is right out on that painted sideline, and the linesman here on the near side tossing his flag. Sideline warning against Muskogee. So that's the first time they warn you, Dick. It's kind of like going through that speed zone when you're about 7 miles over the posted speed limit. If you're lucky, the guys in blue will give you a warning, but the second time they catch you, it's the automatic fine. Actually, they put the ball at the 49-yard line, so it did carry a 5-yard penalty. 2nd down, handed off on the give to Schneeberger. Harmon had gotten 5 on the 1st down carry, and then Schneeberger ahead upfield from the 44 to the 47 will get 3.
7-yard line, 3rd down and 1.
3rd down, and they're going to put it at the 43, the 47 on the opposite end, so it's a 4-yard gain. It'll be 3rd and a long yard for the Wildcats.
Wildcats take their time running the ball. They generally don't get the plays off much before you get down to about 5 or 6 on the play clock.
That's the way you can control the tempo of the ball game. Now Moore with the running back Harmon to his left will bring Schneeberger in. They'll fake it, keeping it as Tay Moore.
On the keeper.
Got Sean Smith getting in at his ankles, but not before Moore is able to fight his way from the 47 to the Ruffer 43-yard line, another 4-yard pickup. So in 6 plays, Ponca has moved downfield to the 43-yard line where they have it in Ruffer territory. (12-0) Muskogee. Ruffers in front. Scoreboard update brought to you by J. Hodge Chevrolet. Trips out wide to the right for Moore. Play action, give it off in traffic. Schneeberger getting the exchange, and he runs straight into the defensive presence of the big muscles up front, Vernon Pepiakata. Whatever way you spell it, Nick, it results And a stop this time for no gain.
No gain. Vernon just grabbed him by the shoulders and said, I don't think so, and threw him backwards.
Pepiakata came in with 4 tackles for loss on the year. That makes 5. Actually, they're going to call it no gain, so we'll make it at least the 18th stop for Pepiakata, who goes both ways, Nick, and he's got to be liking these cooler temperatures here tonight.
I bet he is, yeah.
2nd and 10 for the Wildcats in their travel white uniforms with the blue numerals trimmed in red. Harmon to the right of Taymor. Takes the snap. Counter handoff in traffic. Harmon's going to change directions, and he's going to be grabbed around the ankles initially by Brandon Tolbert. And then Anthony Watson finishing it off. No gain on the play. And the clock continues to run toward intermission. Muskogee leading at 12-0. Deer Creek leading Tulsa, Washington 14-0. Sand Springs with a safety leading Choctaw in the first, 2-zip. And Stillwater out in front of Bartlesville by a 21-0 advantage.
Ponca City has rushed the ball 16 times tonight for 25 yards.
Harmon to the left of Taymor. Twins out left and right. Back in the pocket is Moore, setting up, waiting, now being pressured, looking for somebody to throw back to. Harmon was on the side by himself. Moore trying to get there to find space, and he'll just have to throw it away. Harmon had kind of rolled out, Nick, to the opposite side, but Moore was under so much pressure in the backfield, couldn't ever get his shoulder squared and his arm able to bring a pass of much intensity, and he just has to heave it out of bounds, and it brings up a 4th and 10.
So this time the Wildcats will go into punt formation.
Caden Anderson will be back to do the punting. Ruffers will have Jaden Bell in punt coverage, or punt return. Good snap back. Kick is up into the air. Bell's going to field it on the move at the 15, trying to get a block. Jukes one tackler. Penalty flag is down for a block in the back, and Bell's going to be wrapped up and stopped short of the 20 at about the 18-yard line. Senior taking a risk there, Nick, picking up that punt, but then an illegal block in the back was pretty obvious from our vantage point. That'll be on the Ruffers.
That'll be the first penalty against the Ruffers tonight.
So that'll move the ball back to the 9-yard line, where the Ruffers will start this series. 6:16 to go before intermission. If all the technology works, we're going to bring back a chart-topping hit from the late 80s. Nick, did you ever learn the words to the Ruffers Shuffle?
No, I didn't, as a matter of fact.
It's pretty easy to sing. You'll be able to hear it at halftime. Hopefully we're able to bring that audio to you, along with the video from back in 1986 when the Ruffers last won a state championship. 1st and 10 from the 9. Ficklin underneath screen, gives it off to Beasley, trying to come to the edge. Wrapped up and stopped upfield. Got from the 9 to about the 13-yard line. Good effort that time by the Wildcats defensively. Jay Schneeberger was the initial player for Ponca City making contact. They're going to mark it at the 12 from the 9, so it'll be 2nd down and 7 yards to go. So many options in this Reisenhoover offensive package. Twins are out wide to the right. Bell in motion across the formation. They hand it off to Bell, trying to follow a blocker to the edge. Hurdles one tackler, jukes another, still on his feet, but he's not going to pick up the 1st down yardage. He's going to be stopped at about the forward progress, call it the 16-yard line. So that'll be a 4-yard gain on 2nd down. And the Ruffers will have a 3rd and 3 situation. Zapata Lawn and Tree Service, Serpro Muskogee, Cornerstone Funeral Home, along with Kyle Edwards Buick GMC, bringing you Ruffer football here in 2022 throughout the regular season and now on into the playoffs. Ruffers needing to reach the 19-yard line to get in front of the chains. Beasley and Bell come wide to the left side. Wildcats jumping into the neutral zone. That 5-yard penalty is going to draw a Ruffer 1st down.
Well, that'll be nice. Thanks for the gift.
The encroachment flag will walk off a 5-yard penalty and result in a Kyle Edwards Buick GMC Ruffer 1st down and 10 out at the 21-yard line. 4:48 left to go before intermission. Here for the Ruffers, game 1 of the 6A2 playoffs. It's the actual quarterfinal round. The win Winners of tonight's game will advance on to Thanksgiving weekend's semifinal action, either on a Friday or a Saturday night matchup
at a neutral site.
Twins out wide to the left. That's Beasley coming back into the frame. Counter, turning around is Ficklin, wanting to stretch the field, looking for Bell. It's up in the screen and deflected away. That pass kind of hung up in the air from Ficklin, and able to get over there quickly for Ponca City was Alex Papan.
And again, Ficklin under some pressure there. Didn't really able to lean forward and get everything behind that ball, and it hung up, like you said, and Ruffers kind of fortunate there that one wasn't picked off.
Indeed they were. I'll go back and correct myself, Nick, on that last coverage. It was Colton Strange with also some help from Raiden Agee. Of course, Agee and his twin brother Riker grew up right here in Muskogee when his father was an assistant football coach at Muskogee. Richard back in the pocket. Ruffers throw the underneath screen. Caught at the 25, 25, and out across the 30 goes the Ruffer receiver. That's Brandon Tolbert on that little bubble screen. And the pass goes from the 21 to the 31. It's 10 yards, and it's good enough for a Kyle Edwards Buick GMC Ruffer, first down and 10.
Nice effort there. Second effort by Tolbert, breaking a couple of tackles to get some extra yardage and get the first down.
You just saw the determination of Brandon Tolbert. He talks about growing up out on the farm. And says to me personally, he said there has to be a mindset that no job is too tough. You just have to cowboy up, as he says. Tolbert will line up to the left of Ficklin. Motion into the formation. Play action. Ficklin in some trouble, trying to dance free, working into open space with a football, hurdles a tackler, then goes down at the 28-yard line. There were no receivers in the area, and really, Nick, that's kind of a smart play by Ficklin, even though it's going to lose yardage, because by that time, and you've danced around so long, you run the risk of having a lineman downfield.
But you kind of hold your breath there. Ficklin tries to vault one of the tacklers, and you hope they don't clip his legs out from underneath him, but he comes out all right.
At the 28-yard line, the clock showing 3:30 to go before halftime. 12-0 Muskogee in front of Ponca City. Scoreboard update brought to you by J. Hodge Chevrolet. Now with Watson and Bell to the left. Beasley in motion. Play action. Give it. Ficklin's going to keep it. He's going to run straight ahead. He'll run into the open arms of a Wildcat defender. First guy that got there was Gabe Rowland. Standout wrestler making a stop. Gain is upfield to the 29, so a pickup of a yard. Ruffers have a 3rd and 12. Have to go all the way to at least the 41-yard line to move the chains. Beasley and Bell come to the left. Watson and McGee go to the right. Ficklin takes the snap, stands in the pocket with protection, throws to Tolbert underneath, trying to find an escape route, and there's just nothing going that time. And Ponca City is going to take the opportunity to call a quick timeout. Gain of a yard on that underneath screen to Brandon Tolbert, but Ponca City takes the timeout. We'll do the same. 2:29 to go before intermission. 12-0 Ruffers on top of Ponca City when we return in 30 seconds. You're watching and listening to Ruffer Football 2022.
I'm Kyle Edwards for Kyle Edwards Buick GMC in Muskogee and the all-new Kyle Edwards Auto Group in Shakota. With the addition of Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in Shakota and Buick GMC in Muskogee, it now gives our customers a great lineup of new makes and models to choose from. We are very proud to bring you a buying experience you won't find anywhere else. If you haven't visited us yet, come give us a chance. You'll like what you see. Family-owned, customer-friendly, Kyle Edwards Buick GMC in Muskogee and Kyle Edwards Auto Group in Shakota.
2:29 to go before halftime. Ponca City trying to protect the precious seconds on the first half clock as the Ruffers will face a 4th and 11. Grant Harmon will be back deep to return the punt for Ponca City. Ficklin on the season, Nick, hasn't had to punt that many times, but when he's done so, he's been fairly productive with a 44-yard plus average.
Second punt tonight for Bird. 37 was what he got on the first punt.
Wildcats crowding the line of scrimmage. Good snap back to Ficklin. One step, gets the kick away, and it's straight up. Wildcats will just get out of the way of it. It'll take a great Muskogee bounce and crawl its way downfield to the 37-yard line, where the Wildcats will have it 1st and 10 with 2:18 to go before halftime.
So it ends up being a 33-yard punt with about 20 of that coming on the big bounce.
Don't forget, when you're looking for some place to treat yourself and your significant other or your best friend, take them out to the west side of Muskogee to My Place Barbecue West, where on Saturday nights it's all-you-can-eat ribs. Telling you, that 8-ounce order is a pretty good mouthful, but it's great tasting barbecue and a friend of Rougher football. Make your place My Place Barbecue West. 1st and 10 for Moore as he rolls to his right. Now looks to cut back against the grain. Still looking for an open receiver. Throws this one up for grabs downfield. Pass is caught. Coming back to rescue the quarterback that time was Malachi Johnson. And credit Tay Moore's elusiveness, Nick. Able to scramble and finally find a receiver downfield to the 31-yard line. A 36-yard pass reception and a Ponca City Wildcat first down.
Certainly the longest play of the night for the Wildcats.
So now quickly the hurry-up offense. Moore with it in the pocket again. Waiting under some pressure. This time he'll be surrounded and stopped. Ruffers that time finally got into the face of the quarterback. Tion Brewer, one of the first Ruffers there, along with Jeremy Collins. Stopped that one for a loss of 4 back to the 35-yard line. 1:38 and counting here before halftime. Wildcats have 1 timeout remaining. Ips come out wide to the right. Moore will roll to that right side, setting up, looking for the short route, throws it upfield. It's caught out on the edge. Gavin Cunningham, who's been the favorite target of Moore most of the season with 44 catches on the year coming in, makes the grab from the 35 downfield to the 27. It's a 7-yard pickup with 1:20 to go as he got out of bounds on the reception. Runnels and Johnson will be the twin receivers out wide to the left. Cunningham and Landis are the boundary right. Moore looking, under some pressure, eludes one tackler, in some trouble, being chased by the Ruffer defender, and down he goes.
Travion Houston coming from the linebacker spot, just would not give up, and Moore a little bit slow now getting up.
Parker Pellet got also in there on that collision, and like you said, on the sandwich shoot, kind of like the old squeeze shoot out on the cattle farm, stopping Moore for a huge loss.
13 yards lost on that one.
It goes all the way back to the 40-yard line. Now with 47 seconds to go before intermission, it'll be 4th down and a bunch, and the Wildcats content to let the play clock run down. Ruffers still with 3 timeouts left.
See if they'll call a timeout here.
Yeah, Scott Harmon's over talking to the official on his sideline to take the break. And I'm not certain that Harmon isn't pleading with that side judge that there might have been a little targeting on that last tackle.
I don't know if targeting was the word. They may have gotten him up on a face mask, maybe.
Tay Moore is still a little bit wobbly as he gets up. Harmon asking for the referee tonight, Kevin Aiken, to come and take a look at it. On the collegiate level, Dick, you definitely get a replay.
Yeah, you would on that one.
Back at the 40-yard line.
And Harmon's livid out there.
And rightfully so, because it was a head-on collision. I don't know that it was head-to-head contact or targeting by definition. But Scott Harmon, seeing his quarterback a little glassy-eyed and wobbly as he gets up, knows that's the muscle behind the offense.
It is. Harmon's still going after the referee, Kevin Aiken.
30 seconds remain before halftime. It'll be 4th down and 19 for the Wildcats. Caden Anderson would be the punter, but Tay Moore is going to stay in the game.
Kind of shaking it off still a little bit.
Kind of trying to rotate that right shoulder. Moore in the pocket, under some pressure, rolling to his left, pulls the ball down, being chased, and then just underhand slings it out of bounds.
And Deshaun Smith helps him out of bounds as well over there.
So the incomplete forward pass turns the ball over on downs to the Muskogee Ruffers. That's kind of a pick your poison type situation, Nick. Do you risk a punt and risk a return, or do you go for it on 4th and 19? Now, with an incomplete pass, you've given the Ruffers great field position at the 40-yard line.
Well, and the Ruffers,
with 3 timeouts remaining.
And the Ruffers have the offensive weapons to be able to do something about that, too.
23 seconds left to go before halftime. Bill Huddleston, Nick Hampton, and our Ruffer TV crew.
Be nice to see this happen now. The Ruffers have kind of stalled in their last 2 or 3 possessions.
Beasley, McGee, and Bell will be the trio of receivers out wide to the left. Low snap back of the knees of Ficklin. He'll pick it up. He'll wait. He'll dance to his left. Throw it upfield. There's a flag down on the play. And this time the Ruffer receiver, Caden McGee, coming back, makes the catch at the 49-yard line, losing his headgear.
Bet the Ruffers are going to be called for holding.
Looked like there was somebody that grabbed a jersey. That's going to result in a holding call. Stops the clock at the 16-yard line. McGee took a pretty good pop from the Wildcatted coverage. Holding against Muskogee is the call. So they'll back it up 10 yards from the point of where the flag is, Nick, and that's going to move it all the way back to the 23-yard line.
That was behind the line of scrimmage about 7 yards, and so it ends up being a 17-yard loss for the Ruffers, basically.
So back to the 23 now with 16 seconds left. Ruffers with a 12-0 advantage here over Ponca City in round 1 of the 6A2, or I should say quarterfinal round, 6A2 playoffs. Ficklin will go up under center. He's just going to take a knee and touch it down, and that'll be the end of the first 24 minutes of play tonight here at Ruffer Village. Muskogee gets 1 score from its offense, gets a pass interception return for a touchdown. Muff 2 point-after touchdowns, but for the most part, control the opening 2 quarters of play and go to the halftime locker room for a warm-up with a 12-0 advantage over Ponca City here in the quarterfinals of 6A2 playoffs. We will turn to Ruffer Village with more Ruffer football after this 3-minute timeout on Ruffer Football 2022.
Your injury recovery goals, plus Excel Therapy's expertise, are your winning game plan. At Excel, our #1 goal is to get you back to peak performance as quickly as possible. Our physical therapy and sports medicine professionals will take you from setback to comeback.
Excel Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. With 16 locations and no physician referral required, you can begin healing today. Excel Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. Look for us online at exceltherapyok.com.
In sports, having the right winning strategy is often the difference between winning and losing. The same is true when you need legal representation. For more than 15 years, the law offices of Michael A. Finnerty have successfully provided the winning strategy with excellence and integrity for the people of the Muskogee area in matters of personal injury, social security disability, and workers' compensation issues. The law office, Muskogee trusts Michael A. Finnerty, ready to develop a winning strategy. Michael A. Finnerty, 436 Court Street in Muskogee. Call 687-1155. Online at finnertylaw.com.
There's never been a better time to find a great deal on a sedan, truck, or crossover at Nissan of Muskogee. Call 918-683-6605 or go to nissanofmuskogee.com. There's never been a better time to find a great deal on a sedan, truck, or crossover at Nissan of Muskogee. Call 918-683-6605 or go to nissanofmuskogee.com.
Tradition. It's a word that means a lot. Just as the tradition of the Muskogee Ruffers requires commitment of great players and coaches, Lesher Millsap Funeral Home takes pride in providing great value and commitment every day with a tradition of service to the families of the Muskogee area. Just like in football, tradition must be earned on every play, every day, not just in the final score. And that's why you can trust Lesher Millsap Funeral Home to be there for you when it counts the most. Lesher Millsap Funeral Home, proud to be part of the Muskogee tradition of excellence.
It's a time when uncertainty spreads faster than understanding. It's also a time when taking steps to prepare can help us all find a sense of security. At ServPro, helping our nation's homes, businesses, and shared spaces be more clean, be more safe, is why we're here. Here in your community, here to help.
In times of need, it's comforting to see faces of people you know and trust. Cornerstone Funeral Home in Muskogee cherishes the opportunity to be there for you and your family in life's most challenging times when friends are most important. Cornerstone Funeral Home and Crematory welcomes the opportunity to answer any questions regarding planning and pre-arrangements for you and your loved ones. Experience the difference. Cornerstone Funeral Home, 1830 North York in Muskogee, where you'll find faces you know and reputations you trust.
Welcome back on Rougher TV here in the quarterfinal rounds of the 6A2 football playoffs for 2022. Muskogee with a 12-0 advantage over the visiting Wildcats. Nick, it wasn't the perfectly executed opening 2 quarters of play, but still, when you post a shutout, if they don't score, they can't win.
Well, the offenses have struggled tonight, and maybe you credit a little bit of that to the cold weather this evening. Neither offense has generated 100 yards yet in terms of total offense, and so it's kind of been a struggle. Our Ruffers got their one on their first possession and then got the defensive touchdown, and then other than that, the offenses have kind of just struggled back and forth the rest of the game.
Well, all the scoring here in the first half was done in the first 6 minutes of that opening quarter. After forcing a punt, Ruffers took over at their 24-yard line, picking up 4 first downs along the way. A big 22-yard pass play to Caden McGee, a 40-yard gallop by Brandon Tolbert. And then after the Ruffers got it to the 7-yard line, it was Andre Beasley on the end around from 8 yards out. The extra point was blocked, and it was 6-0 Muskogee. On the next series, the Ruffers forcing Ponca City to take the football from the 23-yard line. The pass of Tay Moore is deflected by Vernon Papiakata, and it's picked up in midair by Anthony Watson, who rumbles his way in from 20 yards out. And with 5:50 to go in the first quarter, the scoreboard reads the same as it does here at halftime by the count of 12-0. And pretty much from that point on, it was kind of, okay, get a first down, but nothing more for both offenses, and fairly successful effort defensively by both teams.
Ruffers tonight, 6 first downs, 12 rushes for 37 yards for the Ruffers tonight. And remember, they had one that was a 40-yard run by Tolbert, so they've had some negative yardage in there as well. 4 of 8 passing for Ficklin for 46 yards, so Muskogee with 83 total yards in offense. Ponca City, 19 rushes for just 16 yards, 5 of 10 passing for Tay Moore, 44 yards and 2 interceptions, so they have 60 yards in offense here in the first half.
A lot of attention being given to this matchup. Muskogee, of course, at home against Ponca City after earning a bye in the opening round last week, while the Wildcats were at home and picked up the 35-7 season-ending victory over Tahlequah. That set up this weekend's quarterfinal matchup with 4 games spread out across the state. Stillwater, the number 1 ranked team and still undefeated on the year, with a 35-0 first half advantage over Bartlesville. Deer Creek, ranked number 2 in the state, with a 21-0 advantage in the second quarter over Tulsa, Washington. And the game that the Ruffers are keeping an eye on, Nick, is the matchup between number 2 ranked Choctaw and Sand Springs, where in the second quarter, Bobby Klink and the Sandites have a 9-7 lead on the Yellow Jackets.
In 6A1 tonight, big guys. Union leading Broken Arrow in the second quarter, 14-10. Bixby, no problems with Enid tonight, 35-0. That game in the second quarter. Mustang is ahead of Jenks, 17-9 in the second quarter. And Norman North leading Owasso, 14-7 in the second quarter.
It's been a long time since the Muskogee Ruffers have been able to dance on the stage as champions of high school football. Exactly the last time, 1986. So if you do your math, Nick, that's what, 36 years this season?
Don't have that many toes.
But what a season it was in 1986 as the Muskogee Ruffers defeated Tulsa, Washington by the final score of 13-12 to hoist the gold ball as champions of 6A football, Ron Freeman's squad. And part of the postseason celebration was the recording of a video that kind of has some bearing on this season. They call it the Ruffer Shuffle. We're going to try to go back in time and bring you that Friday night flashback with a number 1 hit from 1986 in Rufferland. We call it the Ruffer Shuffle.
Ruffer the referee just from first to BA. Winning don't get no joy, don't get no fame, but without me they couldn't win the game.
They call me Willie, I'm on the line. I block the glen, I block just fine. When I beat mud and grass, I know I've just blocked somebody.
Competition was hot, we played even hotter. We knew our time had come to prove it in Stillwater. When we played the tough, we fought a little tougher. That's why we're number one. Muskogee Rubbers. Rubber, shovel. Rubber, shovel. Rubber, shovel. Rubber, shovel. I'm Glenn Bell and I can't be beat. Coach Freeman thinks I got jets on my feet. The fans are shocked as they stop and stare when all they see is a green and white glare.
My name is Iggy, I've got great hands. I'm in the open, it's end zone land. I'm Tony T, and I pass the ball. I never get beat, never at all.
Competition was hot, we played even hotter. We knew our time had come to prove it in Stillwater. When we played the tough, we fought a little tougher. That's why we're number one. Muskogee Rubbers. Rubber, shovel. Rubber, shovel. Rubber, shovel. Rubber, shovel. I know Arnold and we gave our best. Now we thank the Lord that we've been blessed. A small town team with a big time dream. And miracles happen if you know what I mean.
I'm Coach Freeman, they call me the Bull, and you better believe I'm nobody's fool. I took the team of little scamps and led them on to become the state champ.
Competition was hot, but we played even hotter. We knew our time had come to prove it in Stillwater. When we played the tough, we fought a little tougher. That's why we're number one. Muskogee Rubbers. Rubber, shovel. Rubber, shovel. Rubber, shovel. Rubber, shovel.
Nick Hampton here with you at halftime, Nick, and just that Friday night flashback to 1986. I don't know about the quality of the musical performers anchored by the then head football coach Ron Freeman, who was known and is still known today as the Bull. But certainly it's a fond memory being a part of that 1986 state championship team, and it was one that was destined because the Ruffers just a season before that had gone to the final 30 seconds against a Mike Gundy-led Midwest City Bomber squad and a game played at then Lewis Field in Stillwater.
Interesting note, too, on that, as the week before that, Scott Harmon's father, who was the coach of Ponca City that year, played Gundy's crew in the semifinals and lost. And so Scott Harmon trying to get back to the semifinals for the first time since his father took the team there.
I don't know how that video would rank on today's TikTok and how the current day students...
Ask the TikTok people down here. They probably could tell you.
How today's students would get involved with that, but we've shown it around to several of the students and members of the football team, and they're already talking about remaking the Ruffers Shuffle. What they'll come up with, still to be determined, but there's a lot of football to be played before you can make that type of statement as a state champion. 1986 Ruffers State Champions, part of our halftime Friday night flashback here on Ruffer TV. We're going to take a quick time out, and we'll come back to Ruffer Village. Quarterfinal round, Muskogee Ruffers leading the Ponca City Wildcats by the score of 12-0. We're back in 3 minutes on Ruffer TV.
Whether you're shopping for a new Chevrolet or want to trade and get paid, power up! It's the Supercharged Sales Event at J. Hodge Chevrolet in Muskogee. You know what up to $1,500 more for your trade means? Supercharged savings. Shop more new Chevy. Inventory arriving daily. Don't overpay. Come see Jay. Get a trade-in bonus up to $1,500 when you buy now. Supercharged savings powered by J. Hodge Chevrolet in Muskogee. 144 West Shawnee.
Stop by your local Bravado Wireless store to discover our current plans and promotions.
Well, dude, I didn't see anything.
We're Bravado Wireless, and we believe in the power of connection.
Pioneer Abstract, proudly serving residential and commercial customers throughout Muskogee County since 1905. Serving banks, mortgage companies, and mortgage brokers with refinancing, purchase, 1031 tax-deferred exchanges, along with full escrow services and more. Pioneer Abstract offers the convenience of centralized services for escrow accounts, title insurance, and title searches. Pioneer Abstract, here yesterday, here today, and here tomorrow at 412 West Broadway in downtown Muskogee, or call Pioneer Abstract at 683-2904.
Brunt's Barbecue serves up hand-rubbed, slow-cooked goodness. Anytime you're feeding a few hundred, hey, we're just tailgating with friends. Call the experts. Brunt's Barbecue. Ribs, brisket, burnt ends, mouth-watering hot link, and smoked chicken, where everything is made from scratch, from the barbecue sauce to the banana pudding. Give us a try, and you won't be disappointed. Brunt's Barbecue, 918-681-3900. Brunt's Barbecue, slow-cooked goodness in Muskogee.
I'm Kyle Edwards for Kyle Edwards Buick GMC in Muskogee and the all-new Kyle Edwards Auto Group in Shakota. With the addition of Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in Shakota and Buick GMC in Muskogee, it now gives our customers a great lineup of new makes and models to choose from. We are very proud to bring you a buying experience you won't find anywhere else. If you haven't visited us yet, come give us a chance. You'll like what you see. Family-owned, customer-friendly, Kyle Edwards Buick GMC in Muskogee and Kyle Edwards Auto Group in Shakota.
Your injury recovery goals, plus Excel Therapy's expertise, are your winning game plan. At Excel, our #1 goal is to get you back to peak performance as quickly as possible. Our physical therapy and sports medicine professionals will take you from setback to comeback.
Excel Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. With 16 locations and no physician referral required, you can begin healing today. Excel Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. Look for us online at exceltherapyok.com.
Back at Ruffer Village on this quarterfinal night of high school football playoffs all across the state of Oklahoma. Muskogee Ruffers doing their job in the opening 2 quarters of play with a 12-0 advantage on the halftime scoreboard over the visiting Wildcats of Ponca City. Next week's scheduled opponent will be the winner of the matchup between Choctaw and Sand Springs. And Nick, that game's kind of gone back and forth, and now the Yellow Jackets, with a couple of quick scores, have turned a 9-7 deficit into a 20-9 first half lead. That game not quite to halftime. Deer Creek with a 28-6 advantage in the second quarter over Tulsa, Washington, and as expected, Stillwater running roughshod over Bartlesville tonight, 42-0.
A couple of area teams involved in the Class 4A playoffs tonight. So far on the downside, Tuttle leading Wagner by a score of 10-7. That game at halftime, and way out west, the Hilldale Hornets trailing Elk City by a score of 16-6. That game is at halftime also.
Top-ranked Cushing in 4A posting a shutout over Blanchard, 21-0. That's at halftime, and a really hard-fought battle tonight in Poto as the Pirates hosting the Clinton Red Tornadoes, and they're tied at 7-7 in the second quarter.
Well, that's a trip, Clinton to Poto. Wow.
Yeah, either way, east or west, it's still a long, long way. Bixby having no problems over Enid in 6A1. They lead 49-0. That's still before halftime. Union has come back to take a 14-10 lead over Broken Arrow in the second. Mustang leading Jinx 24-9 at halftime.
Wow.
And Norman North on top of Owasso at intermission by the score of 14-7. Running down to Class 5A, Carl Albert and Del City. Boy, you talk about a backyard brawl right there. I mean, you're literally almost across the street from each other. Titans, the perennial football powerhouse, with a 6-0 lead over Del City at halftime. Grove in a hard-fought battle against Guthrie tonight, with Grove at home leading 7-0 at intermission. Here's kind of a little bit of a shocker for me, Nick, is the fact that Bishop McGinnis holds a 14-0 shutout lead over Coweta at intermission. But McAllister having no problems at home tonight there at Hook Hill Stadium as the Buffaloes lead Piedmont by the count of 42-21.
Looking at some other scores, let's go down to Class 2A. And this one a surprise. Sequoia Claremore leading Eufaula 21-7. That game in the second quarter. Idabel's on top of Beggs 12-6. Victory Christian leading Preg by a score of 26-0.
Preg coached by former Muskogee head football coach Rafe Watkins.
Yep.
Class A, after back-to-back seasons of losing in the second round to the same team tonight, the Gore Pirates stayed in their ship looking for the quarterfinals of Class A football as Gore leads Woodland by the count of 28-6. Jumping, go ahead.
That's got to be a nice feeling for Brandon Tyler and his crew. Have lost to Woodland the last 2 years, and kind of heartbreaking style to be able to be on top of those guys tonight.
Heritage Hall leading Stigler 28-0. That's in the second quarter. Verdigris on top of Perkins Tryon 21-7. These are from Class 3A football. Here at halftime, it is 12-0 Muskogee. Ruffers will have the football to begin the third quarter. We return to Ruffer Village. Ruffers up 12-0 on the quarterfinal matchup against the Ponca City Wildcats. We're back in 90 seconds on Ruffer Football 2022.
In sports, having the right winning strategy is often the difference between winning and losing. The same is true when you need legal representation. For more than 15 years, the law offices of Michael E. Finnerty have successfully provided the winning strategy with excellence and integrity for the people of the Muskogee area in matters of personal injury, social security disability, and workers' compensation issues. The law office, Muskogee trusts Michael A. Finnerty, ready to develop a winning strategy. Michael A. Finnerty, 436 Court Street in Muskogee. Call 687-1155. Online at finnertylaw.com.
There's never been a better time to find a great deal on a sedan, truck, or crossover at Nissan of Muskogee. Call 918-683-6605 or go to nissanofmuskogee.com. There's never been a better time to find a great deal on a sedan, truck, or crossover at Nissan of Muskogee. Call 918-683-6605 or go to nissanofmuskogee.com.
Tradition. It's a word that means a lot. Just as the tradition of the Muskogee Ruffers requires commitment of great players and coaches, Lesher Millsap Funeral Home takes pride in providing great value and commitment every day with a tradition of service to the families of the Muskogee area. Just like in football, tradition must be earned on every play, every day, not just in the final score. And that's why you can trust Lesher Millsap Funeral Home to be there for you when it counts the most. Lesher Millsap Funeral Home, proud to be part of the Muskogee tradition of excellence. Friday night flashback over there as well, Nick. A prominent musical theme of Muskogee Wrestling from the days gone by when Bobby Jefferson was the head wrestling coach at Muskogee. Of course, now Bobby J, a member of the Muskogee School Board. So I'm sure he gets a little head nod, kind of like you did right here in the booth.
Yeah, that's right. That's bob around to that one. Yeah.
That's your beat, is it? I still like Rougher Shovel. 12-0 is the halftime score. Getting ready for the start of quarter number 3. As we mentioned, Ruffers won the coin toss, deferring their choice to the second half. So Muskogee will end and one quarter and begin with possession here in number 3.
So it'd be interesting kind of see what Travis Hill instilled in his crew at halftime. They weren't really flat. They just really couldn't ever quite get the gears going after that first touchdown offensively. So kind of gear up and just kind of talking there during the break. Really kind of need to get something going in this first possession and kind of get over the hump here, so to speak.
Well, I think it's a credit to Scott Harmon's defensive group. Perhaps not the most prolific offensive effort and team, but certainly it's a defense that brings a lot of energy, and they made running, especially up the middle, very difficult for the Ruffers.
Well, and when we talked a couple of times during the first half, their defense has really carried them quite a bit. Their defense has 13 takeaways on the season, so they've done a pretty good job in controlling offenses so far this year.
Winner of tonight's game moves on to Thanksgiving weekend competition, either a Friday or a Saturday contest. That schedule of events will be determined tomorrow based on the winners. The opponent will be the victor of the Choctaw and Sand Springs game that's being played tonight in Choctaw, where the Yellow Jackets, right before halftime, have taken a 20-9 advantage over Sand Springs.
The game will also be at a neutral site somewhere, depending on, of course, who the players are, the teams are.
What stadiums are available, and of those other neutral site stadiums, if or not, they are in playoff competition themselves. Of course, this facility here, Nick, would be great for another class of playoff competition should the opportunity present itself. And I'm sure there's some teams on the east side of the state, one specifically being Poto, another being Hilldale, another being Wagner, that would like to come here and play.
Yep.
Third quarter ready to go. Ruffers in their home green and white. Ponca City in their traveling uniforms of white with the blue numerals trimmed in red. Have it ready to go. Caden Anderson will put the ball on the tee, and the Ruffers will have back Andre Beasley as one of the deep backs. Here's the line drive kick. It'll go into the end zone on the touch as Caden McGee watches it hop into the end zone. So Muskogee will start 1st and 10 from its own 20-yard line here to begin the third quarter of action. When you need insurance, remember, for your home, your health, your life, your car, your recreational vehicles, or maybe even the pets, you can always count on your fast, fair, and friendly State Farm insurance agent, David Cobb. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And for all your insurance needs, pick up the phone and call 918-682-2511. David Cobb, State Farm Insurance. Ficklin on a 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Hands it off to Tolbert up the middle. The gain will pop forward for about a 4-yard pickup. Good effort that time by the Ruffer running back. That was Johnson for the first time tonight. Latavian Johnson on the carry. Gets 4, coming right up the middle between the offensive guard and tackle. That 5-member group: Vernon Pepiakata, O'Shea Stevenson, Braden Henry, Jace Garrett, and Wesley Harvey. All but Garrett underclassmen. So now with Ficklin going under center, a little quick pitch out to the edge. Beasley trying to get a block from Pepiakata, and credit the defensive recovery efforts of Jay Schneeberger. Schneeberger's dad had a little professional rodeo career, Nick, and he showed a little bit of that bulldogging style right there.
He did, and it looked like it might spring forward, but they did a good job of stopping it, and Beasley gets just 1 yard out of it.
3rd and 5 for the Ruffers, who will go back to the pistol formation. Latavian Johnson will be the running back off the left shoulder of Ficklin. Straight drop back. Ficklin looking to his left. Slings a pass upfield. Has a receiver Bell there, but a good recovery effort that time defensively. As getting over quickly was Alex. That is 35. Am I right, Nick?
Yep.
Third down pass falls incomplete.
Good coverage that time by Ponca City.
So the Ruffers will end up.
Actually, I think that was Colton Strange in the coverage.
Ruffers will have to punt on their first possession, which I'm sure is not exactly what T. Hill had in mind.
But the pass was a little late in getting there as well. It seemed to kind of hang up in the cold night air. So Ficklin will stand inside the 10. Another high snap, but Bird's able to leap high and pull it down. Fair catch signal for by Harmon. And he'll make the grab at the 45-yard line. So that's where Ponca City will go in action for the first time here in the third quarter. 12-0, Muskogee Ruffers in front. Upcoming holidays just around the corner, Thanksgiving, and then before you know it, it's Christmas, and you'll want to make sure your home is lit up like a Christmas tree. And if you're looking for somebody to hang those Christmas lights, you can call Antonio Zapata and his crew at Zapata Lawn and Tree Service, 918-990-0946. Mi amigo, Antonio Zapata and Zapata Lawn and Tree Service can take care of all your Christmas lighting needs, plus trim trees and do all the yard work. The handyman at Zapata Lawn and Tree Service. First and 10 for the Wildcats from their own 45-yard line. Swing pass up the field, caught and dropped. Good play action pass. Left the tight end, Rich Cooper, standing wide open. The pass falls incomplete.
Watson or Tolbert got up, kind of leaped up there. He may have blocked the view just a little bit of the receiver, and ball got there to him a little quickly and kind of blind, and he dropped it.
That'll drop the clock to a stop. As Grant Harmon will line up to the left shoulder of Tamor. Harmon, one of several coaches' sons. Ball loose on the exchange as Moore picked it up and just tries to scramble free of disaster. And fortunately for Tamor, he was able to find the mishandled exchange between he and Grant Moore.
4-yard loss, though.
Parker Pellet making sure that one went nowhere for a loss of 4, so it'll be third down and 14. Now, we mentioned the coach's sons. Grant Harmon, of course, the head coach, Scott Harmon's youngster. Gabe Rowland, whose dad, Justin, is the defensive coordinator. And then you've got Richard Agee, a former Muskogee assistant. His proud twins, Raiden and Riker Agee. Third and 14, Moore rolling to his right. Pressure coming up front, being chased by Pepe Yakada. Just heaves it up for grabs and overthrows everybody. Vernon that time was thinking QB sack, Nick, but just couldn't get a good enough grasp on Moore to bring him to the turf.
But he sure upset the play enough to force a errant pass way over.
So a 3 and out for Ponca City and another punting situation. Caden Anderson will be on to do the kicking duties, and Jaden Bell will, for the Ruffers, stand back around his own 25-yard line. Clock stopped with 9:49 to go here in the third. Snap back to Anderson. Punt is a shank right off the side of the foot, but it'll take a wildcat roll and crawl its way to the 42-yard line. 17-yard punt with no return, but now Muskogee will get a golden opportunity here, Nick, after the defense forces the 3 and out for Ficklin and company to come in and light up the offensive motion.
Well, so far, these first 2 possessions of the second half have been kind of like what we saw most of the second quarter. Just the offense is not able to generate much.
Tolbert to the left shoulder of Ficklin. Quarterback keeper this time. Tolbert will lead a block. Ficklin with a run. It runs over a would-be tackler at the 45 and then taken to the turf at about the 40, where are they going to mark this, 48-yard line?
Caden Anderson on the tackle for the Wildcats, but a nice run by Bird.
5 yards for Ficklin. He has not ran the football very many times this season, Nick, but he certainly has the athletic ability to do so. McGee and Beasley will be out wide to the right. Bell on the boundary to the left side. Watson will move up in a slot. Ficklin with a hard count almost gets the Wildcats to jump, but they'll hold on, and Ruffers will look to the sideline. Latavian Johnson in as the running back. Ficklin takes the snap, fumbles the handoff to Johnson, and has to just fall on top of it up at the 43-yard line. So that's going to lose 4. So what you gain 5 on first down, you give back 4 here. And it'll be 3rd down and 8. 3 receivers this time for the Ruffers go wide right. Ficklin takes the knee-high snap, steps up on the pocket on the quarterback run. Going to try to get to the corner. Got a block outside 50, 45. Bird has the first down. Second effort, 40. And then finally ushered out of bounds on the PC sideline at the 36-yard line.
One of the linemen got a good block out there. I'm not exactly sure who it was, but they got a good block to spring him.
18 yards on the quarterback keeper by Jamarian Ficklin. That's good enough for a Kyle Edwards Buick GMC Ruffer, 1st down and 10. Good number of followers on our live stream broadcast tonight. Many of those from around the Muskogee area as well as all across the state, including Wildcat fans. Counter handoff inside, giving to the Johnson out of a tackle, 35. Sophomore running back able to step his way downfield from the 36 to the 32, a pickup of 4. 8:40 to play here in the 3rd. Muskogee leading Ponca City 12-0. Scoreboard update brought to you by Nissan of Muskogee.
Ruffers need to just pound this one in and get some more points on the board.
Bell, McGee, and Beasley, the 3 receiver package to the wide side left. Ficklin swings it out in space to Beasley, trying to dance free of a tackler. Runs through one would-be tackler, and then there's a late flag that came out of the back judge's pocket.
That might be a face mask there.
Beasley got to the 29-yard line.
Nice jitterbug move there by Beasley to get a few extra yards on the play.
Only picked up 3 on the play, but we'll see the penalty flag. It's going to be on the Ruffers for a hold.
Right at the end of the play, too.
So Ponca City will take the penalty from the spot of the foul, which was the 29, at the end of the play, Nick. So it still comes back to be 2nd down. But instead of being 2nd and 6 as it was a moment ago, it's now 2nd down and 14.
4th penalty of the night against the Ruffers now for 35 yards.
Clock running with 8:05 to play here in quarter number 3. All the scoring was done in the opening moments of tonight's contest. McGee, Bell, and Beasley are out split wide to the right. Johnson and Watson are the empty backfield receivers to the left side. Ficklin on a quarterback keeper trying to dance to the edge. Pumps once, fakes a defender, 40, 35, and then steps out of bounds right in front of the Ponca City defenders giving chase. 2 players for Ponca City included Gabe Rowland along with Xavier Burns. Ficklin will dance his way back to the 35-yard line.
Yeah.
So he picks up, 5 on the play?
Right.
But it'll be 3rd down and still long as Ficklin went out of bounds with 7:46 stopping the clock.
Nice move. He did a little fake there on Matthew Vaught on the pump fake and got him some more yards out of it.
Now receivers wide either side. Ficklin bringing Beasley in motion on the jet sweep. Comes to the near side. 35 cuts in a gap at the 30. Weaves his way inside the 25. Still got his feet underneath him. And he crawls and steps his way all the way downfield to the 20-yard line. From the 35 to the 20, a 15-yard pickup. Another Muskogee Ruffer, Kyle Edwards Buick GMC Ruffer, 1st down and 10.
Now the Ruffer running game starting to generate a little bit of steam. 2nd 1st down in this drive for the Ruffers.
Anytime you get hit tonight, Nick, it's going to hurt just a little bit longer because of the cold temperatures that were hovering right around the freezing mark at kickoff. McGee, Beasley, and Bell, again, the 3 receivers to the boundary, wide side right. Watson outside the numbers to the short side. Ficklin in the pocket, underneath screen, caught by Bell. Got a block from Pepiakata at the 15. At the 10, Bell trying to get further downfield before he's finally corralled by the Wildcats.
He right at the marker there for 1st down.
It is going to be called a 1st and goal to go. A Kyle Edwards Buick GMC Ruffer, 1st down and 10 on the 10-yard pass and run from Jamarian Ficklin to Jaden Bell.
2nd reception tonight for Bell for 23 yards.
So now the Roughers hustle everybody to the line of scrimmage. Johnson off the right shoulder of Ficklin. Handed off to LJ, coming near side. Has a blocker, cuts inside the 10, on his feet at the 5. Sophomore running back of the Muskogee getting half the yardage needed for the touchdown. It'll be 2nd down and 5. Roughers trying to push it into the north end zone.
Touchdown here would be big for the Roughers because the Muskogee defense has done a pretty good job tonight on Tay Moore and the Wildcats.
Makes it a 3-possession ball game if you can convert. Watson with Beasley in the middle and McGee on the outside edge, wide right. Ficklin going to take the snap, trying to find somebody to get behind and follow blockers. Fights his way to the end zone. I think he fumbled the football, Nick. And the Wildcats are going to get it.
Oh, no.
Ficklin trying to stretch it out and get to the end zone. Lost possession of it. And PC recovers in the end zone on the touchback. So the Roughers squander a scoring opportunity on another fumble tonight. And leave this one still up for grabs with 5:58 to play in the third. Credit Ponca City, though, Nick. They didn't just sit back and watch the Roughers finish the drive. And Ficklin perhaps trying to extend that ball forward, had it slapped out of his hands, and it was recovered in the end zone for the touchback.
Chrysler, Dodge, Chevy, and Jeep wish list stopped by Tommy Nick's Auto Group.
5:58 to play here in quarter number 3. See what type of boost this gives to the PC offense.
See if they can get some wind back in their sails now. Rougher defense really like to hold here and at least get good field position again.
A new quarterback in for Ponca City as Moore is out. He fumbles the snap. It's loose, and there's, again, a scrum for it. And fortunately for the Wildcats, Grant Harmon able to get on top of the loose ball.
Caden Trammell is the quarterback. He's a sophomore, 5'10", 160.
That'll lose 2 yards back to the 18. Tough pressure for the young sophomore to come in and replace Tay Moore, who has been the offense for the Wildcats of late. 2 receivers split out wide either side with the running back, Grant Harmon, off the right shoulder. Pass out in the flat. This one's high and overthrown. Looking to throw, the targeted receiver was A.J. Landis, but the toss from Trammell was too high and incomplete.
Trammell, kind of a short arm passer, kind of pushes that ball instead of the smooth motion we've seen out of Harmon.
Roughers had double coverage on the outside edge too. Jaden Bell was one of those 2 guys doubled up against the receiver coming out of the backfield. So now with pairs left and right, Trammell out of the shotgun with Harmon to his left. Takes the snap, waits in the pocket, throws out in space again, too tall. Trying to throw in the direction of Gabe Rowland.
I'll tell you what, the Ponca City offense is really hurt if Tay Moore is not able to come back because he has been the offense for this Ponca City team.
5:15 left to play here in quarter number 3. Jaden Bell will await the punt, standing back around the 50-yard line. As Caden Anderson will once again be on the kick. Good snap. Much better kick. Tight spiraling punt. Bell will field at the 45. Trying to come to the near side to get to the boundary. At the 35, Bell's going to be wrapped up and dropped. There's a penalty flag behind the play.
On the return, number 3, Jaden Bell.
Bell got back to the 34, but I think we're either going to get a hold or a block in the back against Muskogee.
Flag's down around the 39.
There's the block in the back call. Flag was thrown at the 39-yard line. So that's where they'll come and step off the 10-yard foul from that point. So Muskogee will start 1st and 10 in Wildcat territory from the 49-yard line. 5 minutes and 4 seconds left to go here in the third quarter play. All the scoring was done in the first 6 minutes of tonight's game.
So the fumble didn't hurt the Roughers too much. It cost them a touchdown, but they still end up, even with the penalty, getting pretty good field position out of this.
Sand Springs having more problems with Choctaw now late in the second quarter, trailing 27-9. Yellow Jackets on top. Ficklin rubbing his hands together, trying to keep them warm to wait the snap. He'll hand it off. This is Tolbert. just refusing to go down, and then finally in the grasp of the defender for Ponca City, Raiden Agee.
3 yards for Tolbert. 2nd and 7 for Muskogee.
Ball at the... Actually,
check it right. Just
put it back to the 48.
I'm sorry. Gain of 1.
Still remember Raiden Agee and his brother Riker hanging around the coach's locker room after practices. McGee and Beasley will be the twin receivers wide to the right side, ball resting at the left hash mark. Now bring Beasley in motion. They run the jet sweep coming back to the near side, and the Wildcats diagnose that one perfectly. Jay Schneeberger upfield on his containment, able to stop Beasley back at the 50-yard line, so that'll lose 2.
Ruffers have more negative yards rushing tonight than we have seen all season long in any one game.
Clock running here in the third quarter, 3:55 and counting. Muskogee 12, Ponca City 0. McGee and Beasley are out wide to the right. Bicklin will roll that way with the linebacker giving chase. Sling a pass upfield, diving to the turf, but unable to cradle it in and hold it all the way to the ground was Caden McGee. It's a tough throw for a lefty too, Nick, rolling to his right. And able with velocity and direction and accuracy, able to sling that pass upfield to McGee. It was a little bit slow. Caden couldn't hold on to it. It'll be 4th down.
6 of 12 passing tonight for Ficklin for just 59 yards.
So now Bird will be back in punt formation. Grant Harmon will be deep for the Wildcats. Again, the snap back to Ficklin. This time has time to kick it end over end. Ruffers will get out of the way of it. That one checks up and touched by the Ruffers at the 24-yard line. Ruffers were thinking maybe that ball had gone off the foot of one of the Wildcats because of its sudden change of direction. But the official right on top of the play says no, sir. And with 3:34 left here in the third, it'll be Ponca City football again. Wildcats have yet to pick up a first down here in the second half on 2 previous possessions.
That's 4 punts we've had here in this third quarter so far.
3 minutes, 34 seconds left. Ruffers gift wrapping a touchdown giveaway on a fumble into the end zone. So the Wildcats with the football. Once again, Trammell in at quarterback, waits in the pocket, pumps once, throws underneath, ball caught and then dropped. A.J. Landis had it, but never could get total control of it. It'll fall to the incomplete status. Ruffer coaches felt like, Nick, if they could force Ponca City to have to get into a passing game, it would be well to the liking of Muskogee, but I don't think they expected Tay Moore not to be at the controls.
Well, we don't know if Moore's still shaking some of that injury off that he suffered a little bit in that late in that second quarter, but he hasn't come back. He played in the first series, but it's been Trammell since then.
So now on a 2nd and 10 from the 24. Trammell rolling to his left. The pump fake, throws up the field, picked off. INT, Ruffers with the takeaway.
Bolden with it.
Bolden, there's marker down, but I think that's just to spot the point of the interception. Martell Bolden with the interception, his 3rd of the season, and the Ruffers will get a obvious advantage on field position at the 28-yard line.
3rd interception tonight for the Ruffer defense. One of those resulted in a touchdown.
Ruffers came in with 16 pass interceptions, so that'll run it up to 19. Now with 3:17 to go here in the third, time to put points on the board. Tolbert to the left of Ficklin, takes the handoff on the stretch to the outside, 25, cuts inside of a tackler at 20, uses his balance to race his way downfield to the 15-yard line. 12 yards on the carry for Brandon Tolbert. And the senior running back results in a Kyle Edwards Buick GMC Ruffer 1st down and 10.
Ruffers did a good job of sealing off the side that time, and Tolbert had pretty good sailing out to the weak side of the offense.
Now 2 receivers come to the left. Ficklin going to take the direct snap. He'll cut upfield to 10, still on his feet at the 5, and he lunges forward. Had to go to the 5-yard line. I think they're going to mark this one about the 6, so a 9-yard pickup by Bird on that quarterback keeper. Ruffers using their quarterback more in the run game tonight, Nick, than we've seen for the most part this season.
Especially here in the second half.
Clock still counting with 2:25 to play. 12-0 Muskogee. Scoreboard update brought to you by J. Hodge Chevrolet. 2nd and a yard to go, 6 for the touchdown. Handed off to Tolbert, broke one tackle, loose on the field, had the ball stripped, and battle for, and Ponca City again is going to rip the ball out of the ball carrier's hands. Tolbert unable to hold on to it, and the Wildcats recover. Twice inside the 10, the Roughers have fumbled away scoring chances.
Third fumble lost tonight by the Roughers. Wow.
He only had 2 of those in the preceding 10 games, Nick. Ponca City will get it back. They'll start 1st and 10 from their 6-yard line. 2:12 to play here in the third. Still 12-0 the score. Back in to run the offense will be the sophomore Caden Trammell. He'll have Harmon to his right. Handed off to Harmon, trying to go left. Cuts up across the 10, out across the 15. And to the 17-yard line. An 11-yard run for Grant Harmon. And a Ponca City first down.
One of the better runs tonight for the Wildcats. Harmon had a 20-yard run early in the ball game. It's been pretty well stifled since then.
Clock showing 1:55 to play in the third quarter of this quarterfinal matchup of 6A2 football. Winner goes on to take on either Choctaw or Sand Springs next weekend. Trammell this time going to hand it off to Harmon. The Roughers were there in a hurry. Getting upfield presence, and it is Arion Parrish, the junior nose guard, with the tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Back at the 14-yard line, that's a loss of 3. It'll be 2nd down and now 13 to go for Ponca City. All the scoring tonight, Nick, done in the first 6 minutes of the first quarter. 86-yard drive for the Roughers for their first score, and then a pass interception by Anthony Watson for the other 6. Trammell, quick out route, intercepted again. Roughers just jumped the route, and guess who it is?
Aiden Kemp.
Aiden Kemp. That's his 2nd INT of the night.
At the 16, so another 4. That's the 4th interception tonight by the Roughers.
Trammell was trying to go to Gavin Cunningham, and Kemp just jumped the route and dives in front of it for the interception. So Muskogee will start 1st and 10 from the Wildcats 16. Can the third time be the charm for being in the red zone, Nick? Here to put points on the board.
I surely hope so.
Latavian Johnson off the right shoulder of Jamarian Ficklin. He'll take it on a little quarterback draw. Dancing outside, shakes one tackler. Then he's going to be wrapped up and corralled by a host of Wildcats.
Cut the wrong way there. If he'd cut back inside, he'd have probably been down around the 10.
Jay Schneeberger, I think, was the initial Wildcat making the stop. Ficklin will get only a yard from the 16 to the 15. We go inside the final 40 seconds. This, for the most part, would be the final play of this third quarter. Kind of been a chess match of sorts.
Roughers have pretty well stuck to the running game here in this third quarter.
Bell and Watson are out wide left. Beasley and McGee to the right. Ficklin in the pocket, waits, throws toward the corner of the end zone high, trying to find Andre Beasley. A little bit too tall. Harmon coming over late, perhaps to wave a hand into the vision of Beasley, and the ball sails over the top, incomplete.
So now the Roughers face 3rd and long from the 15. Got to worry now about getting the first down, not as much about the touchdown.
Clock will stop with 17 seconds left in this third quarter. Not the prettiest of nights for Muskogee, but still a 12-0 advantage. 3rd and 9, Ficklin in the pocket, waits, just throws this one up. Bell battling over there. This one's picked off. Threw that up too high. Bell will have to turn defender in a hurry and come up with a tackle from behind. Good defensive play that time. Colton Strange.
Return to the 9-yard line. 1st and 10, Ponca City.
Actually, that is Caden Anderson on the interception, Nick.
Wow. So the Ruffers starting to get worried a little bit about their self-confidence now. And there's a penalty marker down at the end of that play also. Or I guess not.
No. That's just interception by Anderson puts the ball over on downs at the 9-yard line. But the Ruffers have had gift-wrapped opportunities, Nick, and have just spit them out of their mouth saying, not yet. So with 9 seconds to go here in quarter number 3, still in front, 12-0. Another running back in this time for Ponca City as well. Back in the pocket goes Trammell, throwing the ball upfield deep. Had the receiver behind everyone.
Gavin
Cunningham just couldn't get his hands on it.
That was the best pass that Trammell's thrown so far.
Jaron Riggs-Brown coming over perhaps to distract the vision of the receiver for Ponca City. The incomplete pass will stop the clock. Actually, no time expired off the clock there, Dick. It was 9 seconds to go in the third when that play ran, and then now they'll take off 3 seconds and set it down to 6.
Trammell 0 for 6 since he's come into the game passing.
Hayden LeClaire will be in at running back. He takes the handoff, coming straight ahead, have his feet cut out from underneath him, so he'll fall forward to about the 14. That'll pick up 5. It'll be 3rd and 5. We return with the fourth quarter after 3 quarters of play in the winner-take-all matchup. Muskogee 12, Ponca City nothing. We're back in 1 minute on Rougher Football 2022.
It's a time when uncertainty spreads faster than understanding. It's also a time when taking steps to prepare can help us all find a sense of security. At ServPro, helping our nation's homes, businesses, and shared spaces be more clean, be more safe, is why we're here. Here in your community, here to help.
In times of need, it's comforting to see faces of people you know and trust. Cornerstone Funeral Home in Muskogee cherishes the opportunity to be there for you and your family in life's most challenging times when friends are most important. Cornerstone Funeral Home and Crematory welcomes the opportunity to answer any questions regarding planning and pre-arrangements for you and your loved ones. Experience the difference. Cornerstone Funeral Home, 1830 North York in Muskogee, where you'll find faces you know and reputations you trust.
Welcome back on Rougher TV. Bill Huddleston, Nick Hampton with you, and our Rougher TV crew bring you the sights of tonight's game here at Rougher Village. 3 quarters complete. Muskogee leading Ponca City 12-0. Ruffers having squandered away 3 scoring chances in that third quarter, all inside the 20-yard line of Ponca City. But go ahead.
2 fumbles and an interception really have hurt the Rougher offense on those chances.
So now the Wildcats with Caden Trammell at quarterback, facing a 3rd and 6. Snap back to Caden. Comes the Rippers come with a downhill snowball rolling downhill, and Vernon Papiakata and Brandon Talbert get into the face of the quarterback.
That's got to hurt.
It does, because it moves the ball all the way back from the 14 to the 7, a loss of 7 on that quarterback sack as the Ruffers just blitzed right up the middle, and there was nobody to help the young sophomore Caden Trammell. So now it'll be Caden Anderson back to punt. Quick snap, kicks away, and Bell will just watch it angle and go out of bounds. And again, Nick, Muskogee is going to be the benefactor of field position.
It'll be out of bounds at the 27, so ends up being a 20-yard punt.
Here in the second half, the first series started from the 20 after the touchback. The next series from the 42 of Ponca City. The next from the 49. The last 2 have come from the 27 and the 16. So now starting 1st and 10 at the 27-yard line. 11:18 to go in the game. Ruffers looking for a little icing on the cake here. Bring Bell in motion. Good block on the corner. Bell trying to read the blocking. Cuts inside of one would-be tackler, and then he'll be ushered to the turf right around the 20-yard line.
Johnson leading the way out there. Didn't really lay a good block, but did get in way enough of the pursuing defender to help Bell get around the corner.
Andre Beasley also kind of initially, Nick, helped to create a wall. So now after the first down pickup to the 21, Ficklin going to call his own number. He fumbles the ball again, has the ball ripped out of his hands. It appeared to me that it was Xavier Parker that got a mid on it. But the ball falls downfield to the 16-yard line. Ficklin fortunately able to recover, and the Roughers, by just sheer luck, result in a Kyle Edwards Buick GMC first down and 10.
5-yard gain on the play by Ficklin with the fumble, but does get the first down, as you said.
Clock running with 10:13 and counting. 12-0 Muskogee. Scoreboard update brought to you by J. Hodge Chevrolet. Now Watson and Bell are out wide to the left. Ficklin's going to run it to that side, to the right. He'll dance around. Penalty flags are down. This is going to be a holding call. Just unable to get free, and then a holding penalty here from the spot of the foul, Nick, is going to move it way back.
Flag is down 21, which is 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So walk off from there, and it ends up going to be about a 15-yard loss for the Roughers.
Yeah, and move it all the way back from the 16 to the 31.
That's 5 penalties for 50 yards.
Officiating crew seeing where that yellow flag rests on the turf. So it'll take it back. Actually, they're going to place it at the 32, Nick. So results on an all is a loss of 16 on the holding from the spot of the foul.
4 holding penalties and a block in the back so far for the Roughers in the penalty department.
But you still lead 12-0. Watson and Bell are out wide to the left. McGee is outside the numbers on the right with Beasley in the slot. Ficklin standing 5 yards off the line of scrimmage. Play action across the middle, throwing to Watson with the catch at the 20. Ant-Man at the 15, out of a tackle to 10, dragging another Wildcat all the way down to the 6-yard line.
That'll be a first down, I think, for the Roughers.
Very close.
They're going to spot it at the 7.
They're going to mark it back at the 7-yard line, so it'll be a yard short. Roughers had to get all the way to the 6 to pick up the chains.
25 yards on the play, though. That's nice.
Indeed it is. 2nd and a yard to go. Clock running with 9:40 left here. Roughers looking for some insurance points. When you need insurance, think of your fast, fair, and friendly State Farm Insurance agent, David Cobb, at 918-682-2511.
Hold on to the ball.
Ficklin takes the snap straight ahead and backpedals his way for the first down. And then the scrum continues, and the quarterback push will propel Ficklin all the way downfield to the 2-yard line. So that'll be a 5-yard pickup for Bird. And it'll be a Kyle Edwards Buick GMC Rougher, first down and goal to go.
So Bird, 13 carries, 37 yards after being in the negative on his first 6 carries, has gotten some headway here in the second half and has gotten into the positive department.
Latavia Johnson will be the sophomore running back off the left shoulder of Ficklin. Bird with the count, hands it off to Johnson through a crease, through the gap and the block up front and into the end zone for the touchdown. 27-yard drive in 4 plays. Johnson finishing the work on the Nissan of Muskogee Rougher, first touchdown of the night here in the second half.
Nice blocking, and we held on to the ball, and that's a big touchdown now.
Makes
Talk about insurance. That's
3-possession ball game, 18-0. Roughers here will go for the 2-point conversion after having missed on 2 previous PATs that were both blocked. Ficklin takes the snap, waits, up and pass. It's deflected up in midair. He's trying to throw it out in the flat for Latavian Johnson. It has not been the best of night for the Bird, but the Roughers do have the 3-score advantage, leading Ponca City 18-0 here with 8:42 to go in the contest. We're back in 60 seconds on Rougher TV.
Whether you're shopping for a new Chevrolet or want to trade and get paid, Power up! It's the supercharged sales event at J. Hodge Chevrolet in Muskogee. You know what up to $1,500 more for your trade means? Supercharged savings. Shop more new Chevy. Inventory arriving daily. Don't overpay. Come see Jay. Get a trade-in bonus up to $1,500 when you buy now. Supercharged savings powered by J. Hodge Chevrolet in Muskogee. 144 West Shawnee.
Stop by your local Bravado Wireless store to discover our current plans and promotions.
Well, dude, I didn't see anything.
We're Bravado Wireless, and we believe in the power of connection.
Back to action on the ensuing kickoff. Wildcats with the football, trying to get out on the edge, and finally being ushered out of bounds across the way was Alex Papon.
Beasley doing a good job on special teams to come in kind of from behind on that play and get a hold of him because he was about to turn the corner. Beasley slowed him down, got him out of bounds.
At the 28-yard line. But now, Nick, you've kind of forced the hand of Scott Harmon, who does not have his field general, Tay Moore, at quarterback. Sustained a injury there just before halftime. Now we see Moore come back. So with the season on the line, the Wildcats needing some leadership, Moore in at quarterback. He'll start to his left, that little shuffle pass underneath. Catch made by Rich Cooper. There to make sure it wasn't going very far was the Muskogee Roughers' Tion Brewer.
Brewer doing a good job to snuff that out for a short gain, moving from the up to the 31.
2nd down and 7 after the 3-yard underneath pass route. Clock showing 8 minutes left to play in this winner-take-all quarterfinal matchup. 2 receivers out left and right. Moore with the running back, Schneeberger. Play action, throw it out in space. Caught at the 28, but the Roughers, Jaden Bell, was first to the scene, grabbing Gavin Cunningham around the waist. It's going to result in a 1-yard loss back to the 30-yard line. Good to have the text messages and the communication with those of you watching tonight via the live stream or listening to us on Okie Country 1017 KTFX.
So 3rd and long here for the Wildcats, 3rd and 8 from their own 30.
3 wide receivers come to the left side. Moore straight back in the pocket, has protection, now wants to throw upfield, and it's caught, and a nice grab, keeping his balance and falling downfield for even further yardage was Rich Cooper, back away from the play. Roughers have an injured player on the turf. Was trying to get into the face of the quarterback, and Muskogee with a player down on the play, but a good effort that time by Rich Cooper to find the ball up into the cold night air. And the pass play goes all the way down field, 32 yards, and a Ponca City 1st down. We'll take a brief 30-second timeout and return to Rougher Village. 7:06 to play. Muskogee leading 12-0 over Ponca City. We return on Rougher TV.
Pioneer Abstract, proudly serving residential and commercial customers throughout Muskogee County since 1905. Serving banks, mortgage companies, and mortgage brokers with refinancing, purchase, 1031 tax-deferred exchanges, along with full escrow services and more. Pioneer Abstract offers the convenience of centralized services for escrow accounts, title insurance, and title searches. Pioneer Abstract, here yesterday, here today, and here tomorrow at 412 West Broadway in downtown Muskogee, or call Pioneer Abstract at 683-2904.
Welcome back on Rougher TV. Bill Huddleston, Nick Hampton with you and our Rougher TV crew.
Jeremy Collins is the player down in the field for the Roughers.
Getting a lot of one-on-one attention from Leo Kraske and also Dr. Pete Fast. And Collins up, kind of a little bit of a hobble. But a nice effort that time by the tight end, Rich Cooper. Nick, he's been the go-to guy receiving-wise tonight for the Wildcats.
That's the longest pass play of the night second longest pass play of the night for Ponca City.
So the ball now at the Muskogee 38-yard line, leading 18-0 with 7:06 to go here in quarter number 4. Taymor with the running back to his right. Straight drop back, looks across the middle, going to air it out downfield deep. It's high and it's fought for and it's caught by the Wildcats wide receiver, Gavin Cunningham. Able to wrestle the ball away. Ruffers appear to have coverage, Nick.
There's that wrestling background.
Cunningham making the catch. That's going to be a 33-yard pass play. So back-to-back passing attempts by the Wildcats. 6:40 and counting in quarter number 4. 18-0 Ruffers. Harmon in as the running back. He's to the left shoulder of Taymor, who takes the snap, waits in the pocket now, just runs straight ahead, and again runs into Tion Brewer and company.
So lose a yard on the play.
Parker Pellet also helping out on the stop, back to from the 5 to the 6, a loss of 1. And Ponca City's going to take a timeout as well. 6:18 to go here in the 4th. Ruffers looking to advance. They lead the Wildcats of Ponca City 18-0. We're back in 30 seconds on Ruffer TV.
Brunt's Barbecue serves up hand-rubbed, slow-cooked goodness. Anytime you're feeding a few hundred, hey, we're just tailgating with friends. Call the experts. Brunt's Barbecue. Ribs, brisket, burnt ends, mouth-watering hot link, and smoked chicken. Where everything is made from scratch, from the barbecue sauce to the banana pudding. Give us a try, and you won't be disappointed. Brunt's Barbecue. 918-681-3900. Brunt's Barbecue. Slow-cooked goodness in Muskogee.
Welcome back to Ruffer Village. Bill Huddleston, Nick Hampton. Wildcat offensive lineman. Looks like that's Blaze McGahey being helped to the sideline. A loss of a yard on that preceding play means it's second down and 6. With 6:18 left to go in regulation here tonight at Ruffer Village. Gavin Cunningham will be the single wide out to the far right side. Harmon off the right shoulder of Taymor, who's back to lead this offense. Looks to swing the route. Under some pressure, finds a little wheel route out to Harmon. Ruffers go in and submarine it on the play. Nice stop that time by Martell Bolden when it appeared that Harmon on a little comebacker had a chance to get it into the end zone. He'll get 4 yards on the pass reception. It'll be 3rd and goal to go from the 2. Ruffer defense trying to post yet another shutout against the Wildcats. Harmon, the running back, to the right shoulder of Taymor. The snap, give it off to Harmon, tries to cut back, and boy, just ran into the big green wall. Tion Brewer was right at the point of the attack, and he wrapped both arms around the legs of Harmon and stopped him actually behind the line of scrimmage at the 3-yard line. 4th down and goal to go for PC. And for that part, Nick, 4th down and game.
Yeah, if they've got any chance of getting back in, they've got to score here.
Moore and Harmon discussing the play here. Play clock down to 3, now down to 2. Moore's going to call his own number, and I don't think he's going to get there. Ruffer defense stopping him short at the 2-yard line. So after Ponca City had 1st and goal at the 5 following 2 long pass plays, the inability to finish the drive will turn the ball over on downs to Muskogee at the 1-yard line. So that 4th down effort for Taymor gives him 2 yards rushing on that attempt. But now Muskogee with its advantage of the scoreboard 18-0. You just want to get out of the shadow of your own goal line.
And run the ball and run the clock at this point.
Ficklin standing about 4 yards deep in the end zone. Takes the snap, hands it off, going to the left side, out across the 5, and up near the 10-yard line goes the Ruffer running back. That's Brandon Tolbert. Just a little quick off-tackle burst. take it all the way from the
10-yard line.
2 to the 10.
Second and 2.
It'll be 2nd down and 2 after that 8-yard pickup.
60 yards rushing tonight for Tolbert on 6 carries.
Got to start thinking about our Buffalo Wild Wings players of the game, and certainly there's a few names that pop up immediately defensively for me, Nick, but see what happens on the offensive side. 2nd and goal, or 2nd and 2. Ficklin on a keeper. Has a block on the edge, 10, 15, down across the 20, and fights his way upfield across to the 26-yard line. That'll be a gain of 16, and a Kyle Edwards Buick GMC rougher, 1st down and 10.
Good block out there by Tolbert leading the way. Really sprung him around the corner.
Clock winding down, precious seconds off the scoreboard clock in the north end zone of Ruffer Village. What an opening season of success it's been for Muskogee here at home, as they are less than 4 minutes away from picking up their 10th win of the season. Ficklin watching the play count, down to 4, now down to 3. He'll take the snap. Handing off to Tolbert, trying to get out on the edge, and then darts back inside. He'll find his way from the 26 to the 31, a pickup of 5. But more importantly, Nick, the ground game just able to expire precious seconds off the scoreboard clock.
Inside, 3 minutes after this snap. Ruffers just running, letting the play clock run down. Ponca City not showing any opportunity or urgency to call a timeout.
Wildcats have all 3 timeouts remaining, but down by 3 scores. Ficklin again giving to Tolbert, breaks out of the first contact, 30, 35, weaving his way across the 40 and up to the 42-yard line goes the Bull. Brandon Tolbert from the 31 to the 41, a 10-yard pickup and a Kyle Edwards Buick GMC rougher, 1st down and 10.
Puts Tolbert now at 75 yards on 8 carries.
He's been a playmaker tonight for Muskogee on both sides of the football, Nick, as he has been all season long. Now with Bell and Beasley out wide to the left. 2:17 and counting here in quarter number 4. Jamari and Ficklin will just watch the play clock count down. They'll hand it off again inside. Again, it's Tolbert. He'll get positive yardage, a pickup of 1, just hammering off that left side of the offensive front. And when this snap is underway, we'll be well under 2 minutes left to go tonight here, as Muskogee is going to pick up win number 10.
So they will play next Friday or Saturday at a neutral site.
To be determined tomorrow.
By the Activities Association tomorrow, yep.
2nd and 9 yards to go. We hope to bring you both the visual as well as the audio broadcast of next week's game. Snap back to Ficklin. Coming left, got a block from Beasley, and that gets one from Tolbert. And then it's going to be grabbed around the headgear, and Ruffer coaches were pleading that perhaps there could have been a face mask penalty, but I don't think they ever got the front bar. Tackle that time made by Riker Agee, the linebacker.
3-yard gain by Ficklin.
From the 42 to the 45. The clock still running with 1:03 here to go. Ruffers just can take as much time off the clock here, Nick. They can run this one play and pretty much seal the deal.
Yep.
Not the biggest of crowds we've seen here all year long, Nick, at Ruffer Village, but certainly the strong at heart, braving the cold temperatures. Tolbert's going to take the handoff, and he'll work his way up to about the 49-yard line. That would be a 4-yard pickup for Mr. Tolbert, and we've got less than the time on the clock. And this one will be the ball game. Ruffers will just let the time expire, and now we get a stoppage of play by Ponca City.
A little late now. I'll be calling timeout, you'd think.
4th down and 2. Hell, if I'm Muskogee, I'm still going to run the football. I'm not going to punt it.
Oh, yeah.
Ruffer football this season brought to you in part by Michael A. Finnerty, attorney at law, by My Place Barbecue West, home of my favorite, the barbecue plate, and also the great service you get when you go inside My Place Barbecue West any day of the week, and especially the weekends. Serpro Muskogee, Cornerstone Funeral Home, Bravado Wireless, and J. Hodge Chevrolet helping make possible Rougher football. They're gonna make the clock bounce back to 24 seconds. I guess he said 34. Ponca City had asked for a timeout. Ficklin can take the snap here, Nick. It's 4th and 2. He'll take it, run straight ahead on a quarterback keeper, has the first down yardage and chains all the way to the 41-yard line in PC territory. A Kyle Edwards Buick GMC first down at 10, and another Rougher victory here in 2022. Not a thing of beauty, but when it's all said and done, it's not how, it's how many. And the Roughers have posted yet another defensive goose egg as they put up an 18-0 decision tonight over the Wildcats of Ponca City High School. Bill Huddleston, Nick Hampton with you from Rougher Village. Stay tuned. We'll return with our post-game show and name our Buffalo Wild Wings players of the game. That after this 3-minute timeout on Rougher TV.
I'm Kyle Edwards for Kyle Edwards Buick GMC in Muskogee and the all-new Kyle Edwards Auto Group in Shakota. With the addition of Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in Shakota and Buick GMC in Muskogee, it now gives our customers a great lineup of new makes and models to choose from. We are very proud to bring you a buying experience you won't find anywhere else. If you haven't visited us yet, come give us a chance. You'll like what you see. Family-owned, customer-friendly, Kyle Edwards Buick GMC in Muskogee and Kyle Edwards Auto Group in Shakota.
Your injury recovery goals, plus Excel Therapy's expertise, are your winning game plan. At Excel, our #1 goal is to get you back to peak performance as quickly as possible. Our physical therapy and sports medicine professionals will take you from setback to comeback.
Excel Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. With 16 locations and no physician referral required, you can begin healing today. Excel Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. Look for us online at exceltherapyok.com.
In sports, having the right winning strategy is often the difference between winning and losing. The same is true when you need legal representation. For more than 15 years, the law offices of Michael E. Finnerty have successfully provided the winning strategy with excellence and integrity for the people of the Muskogee area in matters of personal injury, social security disability, and workers' compensation issues. The law office, Muskogee trusts Michael A. Finnerty, ready to develop a winning strategy. Michael A. Finnerty, 436 Court Street in Muskogee. Call 687-1155. Online at finnertylaw.com.
There's never been a better time to find a great deal on a sedan, truck, or crossover at Nissan of Muskogee. Call 918-683-6605 or go to nissanofmuskogee.com. There's never been a better time to find a great deal on a sedan, truck, or crossover at Nissan of Muskogee. Call 918-683-6605 or go to nissanofmuskogee.com.
Tradition. It's a word that means a lot. Just as the tradition of the Muskogee Roughers requires commitment of great players and coaches, Lesher Millsap Funeral Home takes pride in providing great value and commitment every day with a tradition of service to the families of the Muskogee area. Just like in football, tradition must be earned on every play, every day, not just in the final score. And that's why you can trust Lesher Millsap Funeral Home to be there for you when it counts the most. Lesher Millsap Funeral Home, proud to be part of the Muskogee tradition of excellence.
It's a time when uncertainty spreads faster than understanding. It's also a time when taking steps to prepare can help us all find a sense of security. At ServPro, helping our nation's homes, businesses, and shared spaces be more clean, be more safe, is why we're here. Here in your community, here to help.
Welcome back to Rougher Village, where tonight, perhaps not a thing of beauty, but the thing that is a beautiful sight is the scoreboard at the north end of the field that you see on your screen. 18-0 Muskogee defense posting a shutout, and the offense doing just enough with a little help from the defense on a scoring effort to record their 10th victory of the season to move to 10-1 with an 18-0 win over Ponca City and advance to Thanksgiving weekend against the victor of Choctaw or Sand Springs. Bill Huddleston, Nick Hampton here with you. Nick, like I said, not a thing of beauty, but when it's all said and done, you look back in a couple of weeks and you're playing for a gold ball. It doesn't matter whether it's 3-0 or 18-0.
That's right, and maybe chalk up a little bit of it to the weather, but I think we got to give some credit to the Ponca City defense too. They've kind of been a good part of Ponca City's success this year. Hard hitting, they get in, strip the ball. Like we said, they've had 13 turnovers going into the game that they've created. So good, strong defense, and the Roughers turned the ball over 4 times, which didn't help them any.
Well, that was one of the concerns that head coach Travis Hill had about coming into tonight's game is if we have no penalties, or we have very few penalties. How many numbers were those there, Nick, for the Muskogee Roughers?
5 for 50 yards.
5 for 50 yards, which is acceptable. But 4 turnovers, especially when you're inside your opponent's 20-yard line and inside the 10 on 3 different occasions, you take those 3 scores away, and it's much more than an 18-0 final score. But when it's all said and done, your Roughers are 10-1, and you're dancing next week playing for a trip to compete for the gold ball, either against Choctaw or Sand Springs, who now in the third quarter, the Yellow Jackets with a 34-9 advantage. Nick, your overall assessment of tonight's ball game and a quick look at stats?
Well, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. It wasn't pretty, certainly for Jamarian Ficklin, not one of his better games of the year, but the Roughers with enough weapons to come back and be able to get the job done despite giving up 3 possible touchdowns there in the red zone in that second half. But Muskogee, 39 rushes for 196 yards tonight. Just 7 of 15 passing for Bird, 1 interception, and just 84 yards. So the Roughers, by far, who came into the game averaging over 450 yards or 440 yards a game on offense, get just 280 tonight. 3 fumbles lost and an interception, and they had the penalties 5 for 50 yards. Ponca City, 29 rushes for just 42 yards, 10 of 23 passing, 115 yards for the duo of Trey Moore and Caden Trammell. 4 interceptions hurt them. They had 157 yards in offense tonight, turned the ball over 4 times, and had 4 penalties for 28 yards.
All right, I know you've got to get out of here because you've got some journalistic duties to do for the Muskogee Phoenix, but I'm going to ask you for your nominees for this week's Buffalo Wild Wing Player of the Game and see if we are in total agreement or if it's a split decision.
We'll have to compromise maybe here a little bit. Defensively, I think we're kind of close. I'm going for Vernon Pepiakata. He was all over the field tonight. He had the blocked pass in the first quarter that Watson then Watson pulled down and returned for a pick 6. And so that and the fact that he was putting a lot of pressure on Moore, had a couple of sacks, I think, tonight when it's all said and done, and really a couple of crushing tackles. So on defense, he's my vote for the defensive player of the game. Offense, kind of a coin toss. Braden Tolbert had consistent rushing tonight, had the carries for 50 yards tonight, or let's see, 80 yards tonight on 10 carries. So a good running game tonight for Braden Tolbert, and so he's kind of got my vote for the offensive player.
The only difference I would have is perhaps to be considerate of Aiden Kemp, who did his job tonight. Remember, that wasn't the strength of Ponca City passing game, and Kemp getting 2 of the 4 pass interceptions, so we'll split that ticket between the two and award both Aiden Kemp and Vernon Pepiakata, our Buffalo Wild Wings defensive players of the game, and then of course Brandon Tolbert. And I think we got to be not too quick to miss the play of Tion Brewer tonight, who was quite a wrecking ball too.
Second half, particularly, Brewer had a couple of big hits, yeah.
And he had big hits, and then Tolbert also had some crunching blows from his linebacker spot. But we'll pick it up this way. Brandon Tolbert on the offensive side, Aiden Kemp and Vernon Pepiakata for our co-defensive players of the game. But most importantly, for the 12 seniors wearing the Rougher uniform here at home for the final time, an 18-0 victory, and moving on to the state semifinals next weekend. We'll come back to put a wrap on tonight's broadcast after this 30-second timeout here on Rougher Football 2022.
In times of need, it's comforting to see faces of people you know and trust. Cornerstone Funeral Home in Muskogee cherishes the opportunity to be there there for you and your family in life's most challenging times when friends are most important. Cornerstone Funeral Home and Crematory welcomes the opportunity to answer any questions regarding planning and pre-arrangements for you and your loved ones. Experience the difference. Cornerstone Funeral Home, 1830 North York in Muskogee, where you'll find faces you know and reputations you trust.
Bill Littleson, Nick Hampton, and the Ruffer TV crew for the final time tonight from Ruffer Village. Muskogee picking up win number 10 in 11 starts, but more importantly, advancing their playoff hopes into the state semifinals next weekend, opposite either Choctaw or Sand Springs. And just to give you a quick scoreboard update there, Choctaw leading Sand Springs now 34-9 in the third quarter. That game will either be on Friday or Saturday. It will be at a neutral site. But the Ruffers will be playing for an opportunity to compete for the state championship for the first time since the 2016 season in which they reached the semifinals. And of course, the last time the Ruffers were able to raise the gold ball was 36 years ago when Ruffer Shuffle was number one on the chart hits as the Ruffers defeated Booker T. Washington in that rainy Saturday night contest at Lewis Field in Stillwater. But tonight here on a very cold Friday night at Ruffer Village, what a way to lock the gates. Ruffers with the victory by the final score of 18-0. For our Ruffer TV crew and for my broadcast partner, Nick Hampton, so long from Ruffer Village. See you next week someplace with more Ruffer Football 2022. And as always, in victory as well as in defeat, it's always a great day to be a Ruffer. Good night, everybody.